Chapter 18:15. The people in the Daoist Lodge all had strange looks in their eyes. Those people who were clustered around Jian Wuxian also felt that something was strange. Many of them had experienced the incident at the pavilion in the lake yesterday. After the Violet Jade Fairy informed them of Jian Wuxian's identity, many people went to befriend him. As for Qin Wentian and his group, although they seemed extraordinary, no one showed any interest in them. However, today the experts from the Tiandao Sacred Academy personally came to welcome them. The person who came to welcome them wasn't Jian Wuxian but was Qin Wentian and his group instead. They could all sense the awkwardness of these people from the Sword Saint Mountain. Even those people who were clustered around Jian Wuxian all felt somewhat comical. How can this be? The beautiful eyes of Jian Wuxian's younger sister flashed with a strange look. She stared at the world overlord of the Tiandao Sacred Academy and asked, "Who is he? Why would the Tiandao Sacred Academy come to welcome him?" The experts from the Tiandao Sacred Academy saw the young woman continuing to ask, and also saw the reactions of the people in the Great Hall. They could faintly guess what had happened. So it turned out that these people from the Sword Saint Mountain thought that they were here to welcome them. But when they discovered that this wasn't the case, they actually felt somewhat unhappy. This was truly interesting. Do we, the Tiandao Sacred Academy, need to report to you for our actions? A world overlord calmly asked. Although they were from the Sword Saint Mountain and had some relationship with Jian Chan, one mustn't forget that Jian Chan was here to seek the Dao. Before this, they thought that Jian Chan was just casually asking and he had already answered. Yet, this young woman actually continued to ask and her attitude wasn't that friendly. "Sir, please don't blame her. My younger sister doesn't know any etiquette and was merely curious." As a world overlord, Jian Wuxian's reaction was much faster. He immediately went up and apologized. After all, he also wanted to head to the Tiandao Sacred Academy for cultivation. He didn't want to offend the experts from the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Before he even entered the Sacred Academy, Brother Qin, the Violet Jade Fairy who was at the side, had a look of contemplation on her face when she thought of how the Realm Lord of the Sacred Academy addressed Qin Wentian. After that, her beautiful eyes suddenly froze as she thought of the reason for the argument between the two factions last night. It was because of the two geniuses on the Heavenly Dao rankings, the Qingcheng Realm Lord and Jian Chan. The Qingcheng Realm Lord seemed to have the surname Qin. The beautiful eyes of the Violet Jade Fairy stared at Qin Wentian, feeling somewhat speechless. She didn't expect that the main character was right in front of her and was staying in the Daoist Lodge, yet no one recognized him. Who received Sir Qin? At this moment, the Violet Jade Fairy took a step forward and asked the serving girls in the Great Hall. The serving girl who received Qin Wentian earlier walked out and replied in a low voice, replying to Violet Jade Fairy, "I was the one who received him. Which floor is young Master Qin on? How long will he be staying for?" Violet Jade Fairy asked. "The 4th level, a month's time." The serving girl replied, "Go back and ask if there are any guests staying at the top level. If there aren't, see if it's possible to arrange for Sir Qin and his friends to stay there." The Violet Jade Fairy commanded. It seemed like her status in the Daoist Lodge was extraordinary. The serving girl started. The 1st level was prepared for the major characters of the Mystic region. Also, only characters from the peak powers of the Mystic region had the qualifications to stay on the 1st level. Right now, the Violet Jade Fairy actually said that she wanted Qin Wentian to stay on the top level. "Do as I say." The Violet Jade Fairy spoke. "Yes." The serving girl nodded. Her beautiful eyes cast a deep glance at Qin Wentian. Seems like this young man whose residence was snatched from the 3rd level was actually an extraordinary character. In addition, it was highly possible that he came from a peak power in the Mystic region. Everyone in the surroundings started. Could it be that the Violet Jade Fairy already knew of the identity of this young man? That attendant of the Daoist Lodge beside Jian Wuxian had a strange look on his face. He seemed to be contemplating the consequences of him helping Qin Wentian to snatch away Qin Wentian's residence. Although it seemed like a minor matter, if Qin Wentian was qualified to stay on the 1st level of the Heaven Equal Lodge, this matter would definitely be a major one. No need, the 4th level is fine. There's no need to trouble yourself. Qin Wentian glanced at the Violet Jade Fairy. He didn't deserve a reward if he didn't deserve it. Since he paid the price to stay here, he could feel at ease. The way the Daoask Lodge did things was too utilitarian. It was best if he didn't interact too deeply with them. Qingcheng Realm Lord is now famous in the Mystic region. How can you feel aggrieved staying in my Daoask Lodge? This is something that should be done. The Violet Jade Fairy smiled, exuding a sense of charm. Qingcheng Realm Lord. The gazes of the people in the surroundings froze. So it turned out that this young man was none other than the Qingcheng Realm Lord, whose name was now famous in the Mystic region. He was a supreme genius who killed the Dragon Pool Manor Lord in a single battle. In addition, he would soon be ranked on the Heavenly Dao rankings, becoming one of the 10 people with the highest potential to become a heavenly deity. The people of the Sword Saint Mountain turned their gazes to Qin Wentian. He was actually the Qingcheng Realm Lord. Before this, the people of the Sword Saint Mountain snatched away Qin Wentian's residence and even said that the Qingcheng Realm Lord was inferior to Jian Chan last night. However, the Qingcheng Realm Lord didn't even say a single word to them and didn't snatch his residence. The disparity between them was obvious. Although they still firmly believed that the Qingcheng Realm Lord was inferior to Jian Chan, at the very least, he was superior to them. If he revealed his identity, would the Daoask Lodge allow his residence to be snatched away? I appreciate Fairy's kind intentions. However, the atmosphere on the 4th level is already extremely good. My family members are all very satisfied. Qin Wentian smiled and nodded. I will head to the Tiandao Sacred Academy for cultivation, and won't disturb the Daoask Lodge any longer. Qinyu, I will leave the matters here to you. Okay. Yi Qinyu smiled. She was very experienced and her methods of doing things were extraordinary. Compared to Qingcheng and Qing she was much more suitable to handle these trivial matters. Farewell. Qin Wentian smiled and nodded to the Violet Jade Fairy. After that, he spoke to the people of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Let's move out. Brother Qin, please. The experts from the Tiandao Sacred Academy laughed. After that, the group of them departed. Yi Qinyu and the others sent them off. They planned to send Qin Wentian to the Tiandao Sacred Academy before going to Daoask City for a stroll. Right now, there were many world overlords among them. As long as they didn't take the initiative to create trouble, there wouldn't be any problems they couldn't resolve. The beautiful eyes of the Violet Jade Fairy froze. A look of unhappiness could be seen on her face. Last night, she seemed to have heard Jun Mingchen saying that Qin Wentian's courtyard was snatched away by Jian Wuxian. Now that Qin Wentian didn't accept the kind intentions of the Daoask Lodge, it was clear that he was somewhat unhappy. There should be someone responsible for this matter. Sir Jian, let's move out. The other 2 people who came to welcome Jian Wuxian spoke. Jian Wuxian could sense the silence in the surroundings and nodded. Right now, the atmosphere around him was no longer as lively as before. The atmosphere was extremely strange. Let's go. The people from the Sword Saint Mountain also left together. When that person saw the cold gaze of the Violet Jade Fairy, he couldn't help but to shiver. He knew that Qin Wentian's rejection had caused this small matter to become even bigger. However, Qin Wentian basically didn't care about his existence. At this moment, he once again arrived outside the Tiandao Sacred Academy. His eyes were filled with anticipation. Back then, when he was an Azure Mystic, he once went to the Tiandao Sacred Academy to seek the Dao and listen to the Dao lectures of experts there. Each time he would improve greatly, and after he came out it was like he had undergone a complete transformation. It was just that the current him couldn't be compared to the past. His cultivation base was much stronger compared to the past. Once, maybe an immortal emperor would be able to lecture them on the Dao. But now, the Tiandao Sacred Academy recommended heavenly deities to be their teachers. Ascending the stairway and entering the Sacred Academy, a world overlord at the side smiled at Qin Wentian. Brother Qin, I can see that the talent of your friends and family are all very good. Many of them have already broken through to the world overlord realm. Most probably, the amount of time they spent cultivating is also very short, right? Many of them are the same as me. You all should know about my junior apprentice brother Jun Mingchen. He is even younger than me, and has already comprehended an extraordinary world heart. My demonic beast companion's true form is a heaven-devouring saint beast. If it wasn't for him being lazy, his cultivation base wouldn't be slower than mine. But even so, he is already a world overlord. Also, my wife and younger sister have outstanding talent and are about the same age as me. Their cultivation bases are also world overlords. Qin Wentian spoke. If there's a chance, I will mention this to Senior and see if we can recommend them to the Sacred Academy as well. Many thanks. Qin Wentian smiled. They continued to enter deeper into the Sacred Academy. This Sacred Academy was extremely vast, and there were many secret realms within. The Tiandao Sacred Academy they saw from the outside was merely the tip of the iceberg, but even so it was still boundlessly vast. Qin Wentian and the others came to a mystical place where there was a waterfall cascading down from the sky. Above the waterfall there was a celestial mountain, and on the celestial mountain there were jade pavilions. Brother Qin Senior lives up there. He said that he wants you to be his neighbor and live here. What do you think? Senior treats me so well, but even now I don't even know his name. Qin Wentian bitterly smiled. That major character from the Tiandao Sacred Academy admired him very much. He could tell from this point. Senior's title is the Divine Sound World Overlord. His cultivation base is extremely high, and he is someone extremely close to the Heavenly Tao. This time around, the Tiandao Sacred Academy will change the Heavenly Tao rankings, and you will be able to enter it. However, Senior Divine Sound is the same as you. He is also ranked within and his cultivation base is extremely close to it. If one ignores one's potential and only considers combat prowess, Senior would definitely be able to enter the top 3 of the Heavenly Tao rankings. The person at the side laughed. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. So it turned out that the major character from the Tiandao Sacred Academy was also a character on the Heavenly Tao rankings and had the potential to step into the Heavenly Deity realm. Also, from the words of the major character, he should be extremely close to the Heavenly Deity realm. Don't boast about me in front of Wentian. That Heavenly Deity realm is something that can only be seen but not reached. I wonder when I would be able to step into it. In the airspace above the waterfall, a voice rang out. You guys can come up. Qin Wentian and the others flew up and arrived at the top of the waterfall. When they saw the luxurious buildings before them, Qin Wentian only felt that this place was like a paradise on earth. In the depths of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, there were many buildings that were extremely beautiful. Wentian pays his respects to Senior. Qin Wentian politely spoke. There's no need to be so polite. You and I are acquainted during the convention. Can also be considered fate. You have such talent at such a young age and I feel ashamed to be ranked in the same Heavenly Tao rankings as you. In the future, your accomplishments would definitely surpass mine. The Divine Sound World Overlord smiled. In the future, there's no need for you to refer to me as Senior. Since we are both cultivating in the Sacred Academy, and a heavenly deity is your master, you can just refer to me as Senior Brother Divine Sound. Chapter 1816. Qin Wentian could sense the closeness of the other party. He didn't reject it and smiled. Wentian pays my respects to Senior Brother Divine Sound. Good. Junior Brother Qin, there's an empty courtyard on this mountain peak. You can stay there and be next to me. I heard that you brought your family and friends here to the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Do you want them to enter the Sacred Academy for cultivation? Divine Sound asked. I have such thoughts. Some of them have extremely high talent. Qin Wentian didn't hesitate. He then continued, naturally, everything has to be carried out according to the will of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. I will arrange for them to stay at the Daoask Lodge. If it doesn't work out, they will temporarily stay in Daoask City. It's very easy for me to meet with them there. I will send someone to the Daoask Lodge to conduct a test. If they really have talent, they can enter the Sacred Academy as well. It's just that they won't have a heavenly deity as their master. Divine Sound spoke. That's only natural. Qin Wentian nodded. How could he not know what's good for him? Naturally, he felt that those with outstanding talent would also have heavenly deities guiding them. However, it was just the will of heavenly deities. As for him, he would have the chance to meet a true heavenly deity and receive his Tao teachings. It's impossible for heavenly deities to have free time at all times to guide others in cultivation. They would only occasionally transmit their Tao teachings. You should be able to understand this point. Divine Sound spoke. Qin Wentian naturally understood that heavenly deities also needed to cultivate. They would also yearn for greater strength and pursue supremacy. It was impossible for heavenly deities to spend all their time teaching others. Hence, heavenly deities would only transmit their Tao teachings once every 3 months. So frequently, Qin Wentian felt a little bewildered. Haha, Divine Sound laughed. He knew that Qin Wentian must have misunderstood. He smiled. Although it's impossible for heavenly deities to transmit their Taos at all times, Wentian, could it be that you really think that the heavenly deities are transmitting their Taos here in person? Qin Wentian started. After that he couldn't help but laugh. That's right, how could a heavenly deity have so much free time? If he wanted to impart his Tao, why would he need to stay in the sacred academy? He would definitely visit the various regions and pursue the true essence of the heavenly Tao. As for imparting the Tao, even a strand of the will of a heavenly deity was extraordinary. If a strand of immortal sense was left behind, wouldn't it be sufficient for him to impart his Tao? Naturally, other than heavenly deities transmitting their Taos, there are also many cultivation secret realms in the sacred academy. You can explore them yourself. As long as you don't disturb the cultivation of others, the Tiandao Sacred Academy doesn't prohibit anything, even sparring. In the Tiandao Sacred Academy, it's very normal for conflicts to occur. The people who come here are all geniuses from the various regions and are all extremely proud and arrogant. But you have to stop when the situation is too bad. Friendly sparring would be able to stimulate the battle intent of experts. The Divine Sound World Overlord smiled as he glanced at Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's name shook the mystic region. Right now, the heavenly Tao rankings of the Tiandao Sacred Academy also included him. Many people in the Tiandao Sacred Academy were unhappy about this. In the Sacred Academy, Qin Wentian shouldn't think about having a peaceful life. The world overlords at the side all smiled. In truth, when Qin Wentian entered the Tiandao Sacred Academy, the news circulated very quickly. Many transcendent-level world overlords in the Tiandao Sacred Academy all knew that the Qingcheng Realm Lord has already entered the Tiandao Sacred Academy for cultivation. In addition, he would take a heavenly deity as his master and his name has already been engraved on the heavenly Tao rankings. Divine Sound, I heard that you recommended a Tao Seeker to the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Right now this Tao Seeker is extremely famous in the mystic region, and has even entered the heavenly Tao rankings. Is it this person? At this moment, a voice drifted over. However, the person who spoke was actually in a palace located extremely far away. Yes, Junior Brother Qin's talent is extremely outstanding. I admire him very much and hence, I recommended him to the Sacred Academy. Divine Sound smiled as she replied. Haha, I'm afraid he's in trouble now. That combat maniac most probably wants to hunt him down. That person laughed. This is especially so for those rankers on the heavenly Tao rankings. A strange look flashed in the eyes of Divine Sound as he thought of a person. This person wasn't someone from the mystic region and came from the outer regions instead. He claimed that he came to the Tiandao Sacred Academy in the mystic region to seek the Tao. But other than seeking the Tao, he actually had another purpose. He wanted to experience the many extremely famous world overlords in the mystic region. Many famous world overlords in the Tiandao Sacred Academy have been challenged by him before. As for the top 3 rankers on the heavenly Tao rankings, he has also challenged them all. Right now, Qin Wentian has already entered the heavenly Tao rankings, and was also in the Sacred Academy. Seems like there would definitely be a battle between them. In addition, you were the one who recommended him to the Tiandao Sacred Academy. I'm afraid he would suffer a calamity. That person laughed again. Clearly, his status was extraordinary as well. If not, it would be impossible for him to speak so casually to the Divine Sound World Overlord. Qin Wentian had a strange expression on his face. He stared at the Divine Sound World Overlord with curiosity. He is an extremely arrogant person who loves battle. He came from the desolate region. Our Tiandao Sacred Academy has always emphasized education without discrimination. This person is extremely famous in the desolate region and his talent and combat prowess are both outstanding. Hence, we allowed him to enter the Sacred Academy. However, this young man is too arrogant and has no one in his eyes. Back then when he fought against me, I taught him a lesson. Divine Sound spoke. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. This person was actually a heaven-chosen world overlord from the desolate region? The Luotian clan was also a major power of the desolate region. A world overlord who is actually so famous in the desolate region? He should be very powerful, right? Qin Wentian asked. He is different from you. His fame comes from his clan. He who originally came from a hegemonic power was nurtured by his clan as the next leader, and obtained the supreme inheritance of his clan. Because of his fame, his combat prowess is extremely high and he has an innate Dao bone. Divine Sound World Overlord spoke. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed again. An innate Dao bone? His Dao bone came from an inheritance left behind by a god king. As for this young man, he was born with an innate Dao bone. Senior brother Divine Sound, I still have a question. Given how famous the Tiandao Sacred Academy is, why would they still come to Azure Mystic? The ancient emperors of Azure Mystic are merely at the Empyrean realm. To the Tiandao Sacred Academy, they shouldn't even be worth a mention, right? Qin Wentian asked. The Tiandao Sacred Academy will not only come to Azure Mystic, they will also come to many other immortal realms in the lower world. Their Dao teachings naturally have to be based on the actual situation. Back then, Azure Mystic suffered a great calamity and was sealed, cutting off all communication with the outside world. There was no news and there were no experts. To Azure Mystic, it's already very impressive that they could enter the Empyrean realm. Divine Sound smiled. Naturally, other than this, there's another reason. There's an extremely powerful world overlord in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. He came from Azure Mystic and dedicated his entire life to the Sacred Academy. If there's a chance, I will introduce him to you guys. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. So this was the reason. The Tiandao Sacred Academy was intentionally giving special treatment to Azure Mystic. Although after ancient Azure Mystic was destroyed, the current Azure Mystic was in decline. But after countless years, there would surely be some people who came to the supreme ancient immortal realms. An example was ancient Emperor Yi. In that case, there were clearly many people before ancient Emperor Yi. It's just that it was truly not easy for someone who came out from Azure Mystic and could grow to become an extremely powerful world overlord, even having a high status in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. If one goes up further, they would be heavenly deities. Leaving aside Azure Mystic, how many heavenly deities were there in the entire 33 heavens, including the supreme ancient immortal realms? If there's a chance, I will definitely pay a visit. Qin Wentian nodded. He still had very deep feelings for Azure Mystic. After all, this was the place he grew up in. Oh yeah, there's a place in the Tiandao Sacred Academy that you should be very interested in. Divine Sound smiled. What place? Qin Wentian asked. The Heavenly Dao Library. The Divine Sound World Overlord spoke. The Heavenly Dao Library is the largest library in the Mystic region. There are countless Taoist scriptures here, as well as records of ancient and modern events. If you want to read through everything, you would most probably need 100 years. How many major events would happen in the supreme ancient immortal realms and the 33 heavens? How many years have passed? Countless years of accumulation only resulted in the Heavenly Dao Library today. Also, even now, there would still be people compiling and recording the major events that happened in the various regions of the supreme ancient immortal realms. For this convention, the God King of Time appeared again and left behind a message for a junior. This matter will be recorded in the Heavenly Dao Library. Inside, there are records of your deeds. Divine Sound laughed. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with a dazzling light. It wasn't because the Heavenly Dao Library had records of him. Rather, it was because the Heavenly Dao Library contained records of ancient and modern events. In that case, wouldn't the matters of his parents, the matters of the Luotian clan, the matters of the Qing clan, and the world-ending battle of ancient Azure Mystic all be recorded? In addition, this would allow him to have a more comprehensive understanding of the 33 immortal realms. At the very least, he wanted to know the peak powers of the various immortal realms. Given your reaction, you should be very interested. Divine Sound laughed. Indeed, I'm already impatient to go there and take a look. Qin Wentian laughed. There's nothing much here anyway. If you want to go there, just do it. You guys lead the way and bring junior brother Wentian there. Divine Sound instructed the world overlords who came with him. Right? The world overlords smiled and nodded. After that, they asked Brother Qin, are we going to the Heavenly Dao Library? Qin Wentian nodded. After that, He bid farewell and departed together with them. The world overlords here all felt somewhat envious of Qin Wentian. One of them spoke, "Brother Qin already has a heavenly deity as your master the moment you entered the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Senior Divine Sound is your senior apprentice brother. When people compare themselves to others, the disparity is truly too great. I'm just lucky. I still have to thank Senior Brother Divine Sound for his appreciation." Qin Wentian humbly spoke. "How is this luck? Clearly, you have proven your talent in the convention. Even if you chose the Ziwei Divine Court or other peak powers, you would still be heavily nurtured. In fact, your treatment might even be better compared to the treatment in the Tiandao Sacred Academy." The world overlords didn't feel any jealousy in their hearts. They were just casually speaking. Given Qin Wentian's talent, they were far inferior to him. The Heavenly Tao Library was constructed in the middle of an ancient mountain peak. It was extremely majestic and had a total of 33 levels. 33 levels? Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. The 33 levels of the Heavenly Tao Library correspond to the 33 immortal realms. Each level records the matters of the respective immortal realms. The highest level is the Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms, and there are many different sections within. The world overlords beside him introduced. Qin Wentian nodded. The Tiandao Sacred Academy? What a grand investment. The largest library in the Mystic region definitely didn't have an undeserved reputation. Chapter 1817. Qin Wentian entered the Heavenly Tao Library. There were many people entering and exiting this place. Everyone who went to the Tiandao Sacred Academy to seek the Tao would definitely come to the Heavenly Tao Library. There were no exceptions. Before the 33 immortal realms, no matter how strong an individual was, they would still be insignificant. They wanted to take a look at this vast sea of knowledge. There were guardians in the Heavenly Tao Library. Other than cultivating, the only thing they did was to guard the Heavenly Tao Library and compile new historical records. One mustn't underestimate the guardians. If one asked who was the most knowledgeable about the 33 immortal realms, the oldest guardians would definitely be ranked among them. In fact, there were even some guardians who stayed here for tens of millions of years, willingly staying here. It could be said that they knew the history of the 33 immortal realms like the back of their hands. After Qin Wentian entered, he glanced at the signboard and discovered that the Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms were at the highest level of the Heavenly Tao Library. This was very normal, but what made him surprised was that the Azure Mystic Immortal Realms were actually at the second level, just below the Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms. He didn't know if there was a deeper meaning behind this arrangement of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Maybe it was because Azure Mystic was the only immortal realm that wasn't ruled by a hegemonic power from the Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms. Qin Wentian walked up the stairs and headed straight for the top 2 levels. Although he was also very interested in the other immortal realms, the number of books in the Heavenly Tao Library was simply too abundant. It was impossible for him to browse through them one by one. The ones he wanted to understand the most was still the Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms and Azure Mystic. After he arrived at the second level, he discovered that this level was much more spacious compared to the other levels. It seemed like the Heavenly Tao Library had the least amount of records regarding Azure Mystic. This could also be understood. After the world-ending battle, Azure Mystic was sealed away. After that, there didn't seem to be anything worthy for the Tiandao Sacred Academy to intentionally leave a record here. In fact, maybe the Tiandao Sacred Academy didn't even pay much attention to it. Qin Wentian entered. The bookshelves were clearly categorized. For example, the major powers of the Azure Mystic Immortal Realms, the characters of the Azure Mystic Immortal Realms, the strange stories of Azure Mystic, etc. He came before a certain bookshelf. The world-ending battle of ancient Azure Mystic was listed separately, and there were many ancient scrolls introducing it. Qin Wentian stretched out his hand and flipped open an ancient scroll. His immortal sense entered, and after that, numerous characters floated into his mind, incomparably clear. This is the background introduction of the Doomsday Battle. After Qin Wentian finished reading, he placed it back to its original place. Indeed, it was like what the heavenly deity said back then. The background of the world-ending battle was after the 33 immortal realms were unified. Other than the Azure Mystic Immortal Realms, the other 31 immortal realms were all ruled by the hegemonic powers of the Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms. At this moment only Qing Xian stood tall. There were many hegemonic powers in the supreme ancient immortal realms that wanted to separate the 33 immortal realms. How could some ambitious people allow the Azure Mystic immortal realms to be weak? They naturally wanted to control the Azure Mystic immortal realms for themselves. Hence they started this world-ending war. Naturally, the background recorded in the Jade Slip was even more detailed. Many powers of the heavenly deity race who participated in the world-ending battle no longer existed. From this, one could see how ancient the history was. Qin Wentian quietly read. He flipped through the ancient scroll and gradually came into contact with the famous heavenly deities of ancient Azure Mystic. Among them, there were a few that were mentioned the most. One of them was none other than the imperishable Heaven Lord, the faith of ancient Azure Mystic. She was a true goddess unexcelled in the world. Other than the imperishable Heaven Lord, the ancient scroll also introduced another character that the heavenly deities didn't mention to him. This legendary character, in the ancient scroll of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, was known as the Grim Reaper. During the world-ending battle, there were two people who received the most attention. One was the imperishable Heaven Lord, and the other was none other than the Grim Reaper. The various heavenly deities started the world-ending battle, destroying Azure Mystic. The imperishable Heaven Lord transformed into a form of heaven and earth, and just when everyone thought that this cruel war was about to end, the Grim Reaper arrived and killed his way into the supreme ancient immortal realms. He led his army of death spirits and was like a doomsday as he slaughtered his way into the heavenly deity race. Some of the heavenly deity race had thrived for countless years and had millions of people. The Grim Reaper arrived, destroying all existences. A portion of the powerful heavenly deity race was completely annihilated, vanishing from the supreme ancient immortal realms. It was precisely because of the existence of the Grim Reaper that the various heavenly deities didn't manage to conquer Azure Mystic. That world-ending battle was a true calamity. Not only for ancient Azure Mystic, it was also for some of the heavenly deity race. How cruel was the destruction of the heavenly deity race! From then on, Azure Mystic was sealed. No other power dared to invade Azure Mystic again. No one was willing to clash head-on with the Grim Reaper. He only had a code name, you wouldn't even know who he was. No one was willing to face his army of death spirits. After Qin Wentian familiarized himself with this period of history, his heart trembled as his emotions fluctuated. So it turned out that not only ancient Azure Mystic was destroyed, some of the heavenly deity race in the supreme ancient immortal realms also suffered a calamity. Hence, calling it the world-ending battle was the most appropriate. Right now, whether it was right or wrong, Qin Wentian also didn't know how to judge. In truth, it was all because of greed. If it wasn't for the various heavenly deities wanting to unify ancient Azure Mystic, there wouldn't be a world-ending battle. If they didn't start the world-ending battle, the Grim Reaper wouldn't have led his army of death spirits to kill his way into the supreme ancient immortal realms. Grim Reaper, Qin Wentian mumbled. He involuntarily thought of a person. However, could this person be the Grim Reaper recorded in the ancient scroll? After he finished reading the dossier on the world-ending battle, Qin Wentian glanced at other places and casually browsed through them. He didn't understand much about the history of the world-ending battle. Hence he gave up and left this place, heading towards the highest level of the Heavenly Tao Library. When Qin Wentian stepped into the highest level, he instantly felt a difference. There were simply too many books here. It was definitely the largest in the Heavenly Tao Library. The supreme ancient immortal realms was an upper world, and could be said to be the leader of the 33 immortal realms. They had the most experts and the land they occupied was the largest. The history here was the longest and there were countless records. The Heavenly Tao Library of the supreme ancient immortal realms was further divided into 8 regions. Heaven, Earth, Mystic, Yellow, Cosmos, Chaos and Desolate. Each of the 8 regions occupied a region and there were countless books stored within. Qin Wentian first walked to the region of the Heaven region. This region was further divided into many categories. Qin Wentian found the introduction of the various powers in the Heaven region and after that, he saw the Qin clan. This was one of the 2 powers he wanted to understand the most when he came to the Heavenly Tao Library. The Qin clan was the clan his father was from and from a certain perspective it was also where his clan was located. Sadly, right now, he had an irreconcilable grudge with the Qin clan. Just the introduction of the Qin clan alone was enough to fill up an entire section of bookshelves. a peak power that had existed for countless years. There were simply too many legends that could be written down. The names of those peak characters from generation to generation were all recorded in the scrolls. How could there not be many? Qin Wentian started reading from the left, and was extremely serious. For the vast majority of the records, he merely skimmed through them casually, continuing downwards. But even if there were many historical figures he had no knowledge of, although he was reading very quickly, he didn't miss out anything. Time flowed by bit by bit. Finally, Qin Wentian saw the content he wanted to see, and he became even more serious. There were many factions in the Qin clan, and each faction had its times when they were strong and weak. But at the core there were only a few factions. They were the foundation of the Qin clan, and many supreme characters had appeared before. For example, the battle god of the Qin clan, Qin Tiangang and Qin Ding. These two were a pair of cousins, and were also the two hegemonic characters of a certain generation in the Qin clan. Battle god Qin Tiangang was invincible, and had never been defeated before. He fought for the Qin clan, and his fame shook the heavens. Qin Ding reigned supreme under the heavens and was similarly extraordinary. However, fate made fools of people. These two legendary characters, one of them didn't have a good ending. Qin Tiangang and his wife died when they were exploring a secret realm. Their deities fell. They left behind an orphan, a legendary character of the Qin clan of the next generation, Qin Yuanfeng. Because he was an orphan, although Qin Yuanfeng displayed extraordinary talent since young, he was always suppressed by another person. This person was none other than the heaven chosen of the Qin clan, Qin Ding's son Qin Zheng. Qin Zheng was destined to be extraordinary. The bloodline he belonged to was also extremely powerful. In addition to his own extraordinary talent, he was directly nurtured as the successor of the Qin clan. However, the matters of the world are ever-changing. There was a rumor in the Qin clan that Qin Tiangang and his wife had entered a secret realm, and before they died, they obtained a supreme treasure which was then passed on to their son, a legendary character named Qin Yuanfeng. With regards to this point, the ancient scrolls of the Tiandao Sacred Academy didn't record it in too much detail. But the things that happened after weren't too different from what Qin Wentian knew. In fact, the information recorded in the ancient scrolls wasn't as detailed as what he knew. After all, the Tiandao Sacred Academy wasn't a prophet. They didn't even know the exact details. Qin Wentian learned the name of his grandfather, Qin Tiangang. As for his father, Qin Yuanfeng, he was the same as him back then, an orphan. From this, one could very well imagine how much they had experienced. When he thought of this, he couldn't help but sigh at the unfairness of fate. The competition between his father and Qin Zheng had never been fair. If his grandfather was still alive, things would be different. Qin Wentian flipped through many legendary stories regarding his grandfather. He felt his blood boiling, but the more this was so, the deeper his hatred grew. His grandfather was the one who helped the Qin clan solidify their position in the heaven region. However, after his grandfather died, how did the Qin clan treat his father, Qin Yuanfeng? Reality was so cruel. Everything the Qin clan owed his bloodline, he had to repay it no matter what. Qin Wentian continued reading. He naturally wouldn't see his grandfather's existence, but he saw the legendary heaven's son, Qin Dangtian. After he finished reading, he silently placed the ancient scroll down. His expression was calm to the extreme as he walked towards the desolate region, browsing through the ancient scrolls of the Luotian clan. Here, the deeds of his maternal grandfather were recorded, as well as his uncle, the Sky Order heavenly deity, a legendary character in the desolate region. However, regardless of the Qin clan's Heaven's Son or the Sky Order heavenly deity, both mentioned the same thing. Heaven's Son Qin Dangtian represented his father to battle, and crippled the Sky Order heavenly deity. Qin Wentian was very serious about the Luotian clan's ancient scroll. After he finished reading, he fell silent for a long time as many emotions filled his heart. His immortal sense spread out as he started to search for other interesting scrolls. Very soon, his immortal sense stopped at a certain location. Over there, the Battle Saint tribe's ancient scroll. Chapter 1818. Right now, as the Saint Lord of the Battle Saint tribe, Qin Wentian naturally had to shoulder some missions. He hoped that he could help the Battle Saint tribe to grow stronger and fight against the Divine Ox clan once more. seizing back the glory that belonged to them. Right now, one of the three hegemonic powers of the desolate region, the demon god mountain, was an alliance formed by many powerful saint beasts. They were formed precisely for the sake of fighting against the divine Ox clan. Those lofty demonic beasts that were once enslaved by the divine Ox clan formed a powerful alliance, becoming the current demon god mountain. They would often send the demon god mountain to the various immortal realms in the lower world, allowing the greater demons in the lower world to undergo a transformation. In the future, when they came to the supreme ancient immortal realms, many of them would return to the demon god mountain. The Battle Saint tribe was also known as an ancient war-type tribe. Their combat prowess was heaven-shaking, and their name shook the entire desolate region. They were once a peak power in the desolate region and could summon battle divine apes, possessing unfathomable divine strength. "What's the matter?" Qin Wentian calmly asked. Qin Wentian returned to his residence. On the second day, he headed to the residence of the divine sound world overlord, preparing to meet with the heavenly deity. He took the scroll and flipped through it as information regarding the Battle Saint tribe appeared in his mind. An ox demon is so talkative. Why does it feel so comical? Qin Wentian coldly mocked. Devilox stared at him and laughed uproariously, causing the entire space to tremble as his battle intent grew even sharper. World of gods. Divine Sound laughed. Heavenly deities are able to create their own world. In the world of gods, all the heavenly Tao laws would revolve according to the will of the world's master. Hence, you won't be able to sense the familiar laws of heaven and earth. What a powerful battle intent. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed as he stared at that person. This person was a young man with a muscular build. His expression was filled with arrogance and his gaze was filled with a strong sense of aggression as he stared at Qin Wentian. "You are the Qingcheng Realm Lord?" "Oh yeah, I seem to have heard of some things. Luo Xinlei also went to the convention. You should have interacted with Luo Xinlei before. Let me remind you not to be too intimate with her. I've already reserved her as one of my women." The devil woman spoke with cold arrogance. Their divine Ox clan must obtain the bloodline of the Luotian clan no matter what. Although the Sky Order heavenly deity was crippled, he was still a heavenly deity after all. The bloodline talent of his daughter would surely be extraordinary. In the desolate region, other than the Luotian clan and divine Ox clan, there was another power. Qin Wentian had come into contact with this power before. Their name was the Demon God Mountain. Once an azure mystic, the Demon God Mountain descended upon the desolate 10,000 mountain range, causing the demonic beasts there to evolve. The peak of the Demon God Mountain contained the inheritances of many peak-level greater demons. Behind the curtains was none other than the Demon God Mountain. With regards to this battle, Scroll looked at it from an objective point of view. The destruction of the Battle Saint tribe was because of their arrogance. They looked down on the Kuei Ox, and in the past, they were indeed stronger than the Divine Ox clan. However, the Divine Ox clan knew that their talent was inferior to the Battle Saint tribe. They knew how to endure silently, and their methods were extremely powerful. They once fled to a particle world in the outer realms to avoid calamity, and eventually, they forcibly obtained victory. I casually learned about the various hegemonic powers in the supreme ancient immortal realms. In the future, if I encounter them, I won't be completely clueless. Qin Wentian nodded. Because this goddess was a true divinity, Qin Wentian felt joy in his heart. Seems like his senior brother Divine Sound was intentionally taking care of him. Although the talent of many people met the requirements, it was impossible for everyone to do so. Divine Sound clearly had the intention of taking care of Qin Wentian by asking him to bring everyone here. A genius from the desolate region. In the desolate region, other than the Luotian clan, the only other hegemonic powers were the Divine Ox clan and the Demon God Mountain. Which power did this person belong to? Qin Wentian understood the various hegemonic powers in the supreme ancient immortal realms. He really wanted to finish reading all the scrolls in the supreme ancient immortal realms in one go. However, there were simply too many scrolls and it would take too much time. He didn't have tens or hundreds of years to spend here. Hence, after gaining a basic understanding of the supreme ancient immortal realms, he walked out of the Heavenly Tao Library. His senior brother Divine Sound told him to go out. Most probably, the day of the Tao lecture was about to arrive. Qin Wentian felt some shock in his heart. A heavenly deity from the Tiandao Sacred Academy, was actually a female. Divine Sound even recommended her as his master. There was another hegemonic power in the desolate region named the Divine Ox Clan. The true form of their ancestor was a Kuei ox, an extremely powerful demonic beast. The scrolls in the Battle Saint tribe recorded the grudges between the Battle Saint tribe and the Divine Ox Clan. This grudge lasted for many years. The Divine Ox Clan used various methods to plunder the Battle Saint tribe's Battle Saint bone, grafting it into their bodies. After that, the Battle Saint tribe grew more and more mediocre until the Battle Saint tribe was annihilated by the Divine Ox Clan. The people here were all extremely outstanding world overlords. Only they had the qualifications to be taught the Tao by heavenly deities. Who are you? Qin Wentian asked. Do you really have designs on Luo Shenlei? Devilock stared at Qin Wentian's eyes. When he saw his reaction, he spoke, I advise you to give up. She is mine. Qin Wentian continued reading the scrolls in the Heavenly Tao Library, understanding the various hegemonic powers in the Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms. More and more matters regarding the Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms appeared in his mind. Many thanks, senior brother. Qin Wentian smiled and nodded. When Divine Sound and Qin Wentian walked over, these people all turned their heads and stared at them. One of them had a sharp gaze as he stared at Qin Wentian. A sharp battle intent radiated from him. This was the energy in his body that was formed naturally. In an instant, Qin Wentian felt a towering battle might pressing down on him. The scrolls recorded the glorious history of the Battle Saint tribe. At the same time, it also recorded their decline and destruction. In this case, after the people from the Battle Saint tribe entered the Tiandao Sacred Academy, they temporarily couldn't be allowed to come into contact with this person before them. Naturally, the world of a heavenly deity was on a completely different level compared to a world established by a world overlord. This was a goddess. She was clad in white, incomparably pure and holy. Radiance enveloped her body, sacred and inviolable. Her appearance was extremely beautiful, flawless. The moment she appeared, even the heaven and earth lost their colors. Everyone bowed slightly, incomparably respectful. Even the previously arrogant Devilox was the same. Nothing much. I heard that you made quite a name for yourself in the convention of the myriad realms in the mystic region, and even entered the heavenly Tao rankings of the Sacred Academy. If there's a chance, I would like to spar with you. The young man calmly spoke. Qin Wentian recalled the words of a world overlord when he first came to the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Could it be that person? Devilox. The young man calmly spoke. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with sharpness. Devilox was truly from the Divine Ox Clan. In the past countless years, the Divine Ox Clan wanted to obtain the bloodline of the Luotian clan, but they had never succeeded. Now they would obtain it starting from him. In this place there was no sun or moon, only a sky filled with astral light. It seemed like the laws of heaven and earth here were different from the external world. What made Qin Wentian's heart tremble was that he felt that he couldn't sense any energy from the external world. Qin Wentian nodded. He didn't feel anything strange. Even world overlords who were proficient in unique techniques would be able to establish their own world, let alone heavenly deities who controlled the heavenly Tao. Qin Wentian walked over. He didn't expect that there would be records of the long-destroyed Battle Saint tribe here. The Heavenly Tao Library was truly all-encompassing. Divine Ox Clan. Qin Wentian glanced at the side. The records regarding the Divine Ox Clan were placed beside the Battle Saint tribe's records. Clearly, it was for the convenience of those who came here to browse through them. He then took the records regarding the Divine Ox Clan and seriously read through them as he sighed in his heart. Devilox, shut up. A cold berating voice rang out. Devilox instantly shut up when he heard this voice. After that, he turned his gaze ahead as a look of sincerity could be seen in his eyes. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared in the air. It was incomparably breathtaking. Divine Sound just stood at the side and watched. He didn't interfere. This was something Qin Wentian would have to experience, competing against the geniuses of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. He turned to Divine Sound and asked, Senior brother, what is this place? In the records regarding the Divine Ox Clan in the Tiandao Sacred Academy, there were records of Devilox. Devilox was destined to be extraordinary, Because he inherited a sacred bone. Qin Wentian frowned. Devilox's attitude seemed to contain a hint of provocation. That's true. You would come in contact with them sooner or later. Given your talent, you would definitely walk the path of a heavenly deity in the future. You wouldn't be able to avoid contending against those peak powers. Divine Sound spoke. In addition, I've sent some people to the Daoask Lodge to take a look at your family and friends. There are indeed many with pretty good talent. If you have time, bring them over and let them stay at your place. During these few days, have you been in the Heavenly Tao Library? Divine Sound smiled at Qin Wentian. The days were long. He would come to the Heavenly Tao Library again if he had the chance in the future. Not only did they dig out the Battle Saint bone of the Battle Saint tribe, in the process of them controlling the demonic beasts, they also absorbed the bloodlines of other demonic beasts, causing their descendants to grow stronger and stronger. This was why they were unable to stand at the peak of the desolate region. Let's go. Divine Sound spoke. After that, he led the way into the depths of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, until they entered a screen of light. The surroundings suddenly changed. They seemed to have arrived in another world. The Battle Saint tribe was destroyed because they were too arrogant. The Divine Ox clan rose up because they knew their weakness. They weren't the most peak-level demonic beasts. The talents of divine dragons, phoenixes, and great rocks were all more outstanding compared to them. However, they were still able to stand at the peak of the desolate region, and even led demonic beasts that were even more noble than them. From this, one could see how powerful the methods of the Divine Ox clan's ancestor were. His senior brother Divine Sound once said that this man had an innate Tao bone. This caused him to recall the Battle Saint bone that was stolen from the Battle Saint tribe. As Qin Wentian continued on, he saw a few more people. These people sat on the stone platforms and were quietly waiting. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with coldness when he heard the words of the other party. He wanted Luo Shenlei to become one of his women? These people are all disciples of Heaven Deity Dugu. Divine Sound spoke. Clearly, Heaven Deity Dugu wasn't just the teacher of Qin Wentian alone. The number of heavenly deities in the Tiandao Sacred Academy was already extremely low. If he only taught one person, what kind of treatment would that be? How would he be able to pass on his Tao? Chapter 18-19. Goddess Dugu was extremely beautiful. Her beautiful eyes stared at everyone before landing on Qin Wentian. She then spoke, "You are the Qingcheng Realm Lord Qin Wentian, right?" Her voice was warm, causing one to feel as though they were bathing in the spring breeze. Qin Wentian nodded and bowed. Junior student Qin Wentian pays my respects to teacher. A teacher was someone who imparted the Tao to others. Naturally, he could also be referred to as a teacher. Goddess Dugu nodded lightly. A formless energy enveloped Qin Wentian as she spoke. You are so young yet you have such a cultivation base and even obtained the recognition of a god king. It's truly rare and praiseworthy. I heard from Divine Sound that you mainly cultivate the laws of space-time, and your world heart is able to freeze time and space. Is that right? Can be considered so. Qin Wentian replied. The ability to freeze time and space is actually just a type of my world heart. My world heart is named the Heavenly Fate World Heart. This name was bestowed upon me by senior brother Divine Sound. Within my world heart, I can control everything. My will is heaven's will, and after that, I cultivated the laws of time and infused them into my world heart, creating the ability to freeze time and space. Release the power of your world heart and let me sense it. Goddess Dugu spoke. Qin Wentian nodded. He released his world heart onto Goddess Dugu, but he didn't unleash any offensive power. Goddess Dugu sensed it and nodded. How did you comprehend it? Did you receive guidance from someone in the past? This student once had a stroke of good fortune and comprehended many heaven heart mandates. Because I wanted to create a world heart that could be used in combat, I spent 100 years comprehending it before I was able to derive it. Qin Wentian replied. Seems like you are someone with great fortune. This path you chose is extremely correct. If you continue down this path, you would be able to touch upon the heavenly Tao sooner or later. The goddess nodded. Although I'm a heavenly deity, in truth you guys are already at this level. Although the distance to the heavenly deity realm is still very far, it isn't that far. The effect of my Tao lectures to you guys is limited. The path of cultivation ultimately still depends on your own comprehension. Qin Wentian, do you know what the greatest difference between heavenly deities and world overlords is? Qin Wentian shook his head. Before this, he had been trying to break through to the world overlord realm. As for the heavenly deity realm, the Skybreak heavenly deity didn't mention it to him before. Most probably, he didn't want him to be too ambitious. World overlords. A world heart is the domain of one's heart. In this world, one would have immense control over it. As for heavenly deities, it is a transformation. They can control the heavenly Tao of an area. Just by standing there, that area would be his heaven and earth. Everything would revolve according to his will. Heavenly deities are like this world. I represent the heavenly Tao. Goddess Dugu slowly spoke. As the sound of her voice faded, the constellations in the sky shifted positions. After that, resplendent beams of light shot out, resembling a meteor shower. Qin Wentian suddenly felt that everything had changed. Right now, he was in the boundless starry space. This wasn't an environment, it was reality, a scene that changed according to Goddess Dugu's will. This is just a small trick. If you enter the heavenly deity realm, you can even allow people to live in your world. They would think that this is the real world. Yes, the world is like this, it's just like a particle world. The people who live there wouldn't know how vast the outside world is. Hence, I sometimes wonder if the supreme ancient immortal realms we live in is also a world created by some unknown existences. Maybe everything we experience is merely a result of the will of others? Goddess Dugu calmly spoke. Qin Wentian's heart trembled. This guess was a little too audacious. But one couldn't help but to say that Goddess Dugu's words weren't wrong. You might feel that things are impossible, but that's because you are limited by your own limitations. For ordinary people in a particle world, would they dare to imagine that the world they lived in was just a particle world? However, what you all want to know is how to become a heavenly deity. I'm sure you all know that the comprehension of the world heart and heaven heart mandates is a fusion of source origins. When the fusion reaches a certain degree, there would be a transformation. But in truth, even if some people fuse multiple source origins together, they would never be able to step into the heavenly deity realm. This is because the path they pursue is wrong. They wouldn't be able to find their own Tao. As for some people, they would be able to smoothly corroborate their Tao. They would only need a single thought. Goddess Dugu continued, corroborating the heavenly Tao is ultimately a process of returning to one's original state. Some people might only comprehend a single law attribute, but they would still be able to corroborate their Tao. For example, one day in their own world, they would be the great Tao of samsara. With a single thought, they would be able to cause others to enter samsara or even themselves. This is what it means to be a deity. Some people can control the great Tao of time, but they can completely control time and even reverse the flow of time. This is what it means to be a deity. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. He involuntarily thought of the time realm. In that case, could the time realm be a world that belonged to the God King of Time? He was able to reverse the flow of time, bringing him back to the past. May this student be so bold as to ask teacher, what is your Tao? Qin Wentian asked. A true heavenly deity appeared before him, imparting her Tao to him. He really wanted to know what unfathomable abilities heavenly deities had exactly. My Tao, Goddess Dugu mumbled. After that, a figure that looked exactly the same as Qin Wentian appeared before him. It was another Qin Wentian. Who are you? The fake Qin Wentian asked. His voice was the same as his. Qin Wentian's expression changed. However, the fake Qin Wentian continued. You actually dare to impersonate me? As the sound of his voice faded, a powerful might gushed forth from him. It was actually the heavenly fate world heart as he roared. Space-time freeze. At this moment, Qin Wentian only felt that his body couldn't move. A look of shock appeared on his face. He found it hard to believe what he was seeing. After that, numerous beautiful figures appeared in the air. All of them were actually Goddess Dugu. Each of them exuded magnificence through the generations. It was impossible to tell which one was the real one. This is my Tao. Goddess Dugu spoke. The fake Qin Wentian vanished, but he was so real. Qin Wentian felt his body turning cold. Heavenly deities had unfathomable abilities. Just by standing there, he represented the heavenly Tao. His will was the will of the heavenly Tao. Qin Wentian had a look of contemplation on his face. What was the Tao of heavenly deities exactly? He felt that he couldn't understand it at all. Most probably, he was still very far away from that step. Other than Wentian, the others here have all listened to my Tao lecture before. I won't repeat what I said before. Next, I will talk about my experiences when I was cultivating in the past, as well as my insights. The goddess slowly spoke. After that, she closed her eyes, exuding an incomparably holy aura. The heavens and earth changed. She used the unfathomable might of the heavenly Tao to bring everyone to a different scene. Qin Wentian seriously observed and listened. The others were the same as well, all of them were extremely quiet. This lecture lasted for 3 days. Gradually, Qin Wentian gained some understanding of Goddess Dugu's Tao. This was an extremely terrifying heavenly Tao ability that could be replicated endlessly. She could even replicate herself and have countless incarnations. Each incarnation could unleash her original strength. It was equivalent to having an endless amount of power. If a battle erupted between heavenly deities, what sort of scene would that be? Would Goddess Dugu borrow the might of the heavenly Tao to replicate countless goddesses and attack together? What sort of scene would that be? He simply didn't dare to imagine it. Finally, the Tao lecture ended. Everyone was still immersed in it and had no way to extricate themselves. Goddess Dugu's figure gradually vanished. After a long time, Qin Wentian and the others opened their eyes one after another. Their eyes gleamed with sharpness. How do you feel? Divine Sound stared at Qin Wentian as he asked. I've benefited greatly. Qin Wentian seriously nodded. He had indeed benefited greatly. Although his understanding of heavenly deities was still blurry, at the very least, a huge door had opened up for him. Let's have a spar. How about it? Only to see Devilox staring at Qin Wentian as a cold smile appeared on his face. Before this, Qin Wentian actually dared to insult him. Not interested. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. He didn't look at Devilox and spoke to Divine Sound instead. Senior brother, let's return. Okay. Divine Sound nodded. Devilox's expression was cold. He actually followed behind Divine Sound and Qin Wentian. Divine Sound frowned, but he didn't care about it. The group of them left this world and soared through the air. Qin Wentian, now that you are already a ranker on the heavenly Tao rankings of the Mystic region, you actually don't even dare to accept the challenge? After exiting the heavenly deity world, Devilox seemed to be even more fearless. His voice boomed out in all directions. Many people in the Sacred Academy could hear his voice. He was issuing a challenge to Qin Wentian. Ultimately, he is still a demon. Qin Wentian calmly spoke, ignoring him. Devilox didn't seem to want to spare Qin Wentian. Divine Sound turned and calmly glanced at him. In an instant, a formless sound wave manifested, wanting to shatter the entire space. Devilox only felt an intense pain in his eardrums as an irresistible pressure bore down on him. The him at this moment seemed to have lost his hearing. However, this feeling vanished in an instant. Divine Sound and Qin Wentian left. Devilox halted his steps and stared at Qin Wentian's departing back as a malevolent smile appeared on his face. There seemed to be a Tao bone in his body. If he could graft it onto his body, wouldn't that mean that he would have 2 Tao bones? Before that, he had to test Qin Wentian's strength first. After Qin Wentian returned, he bid farewell to the Divine Sound World Overlord and left the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Divine Sound has already told him that he can allow his family and friends to enter the Sacred Academy for cultivation. He naturally wanted to bring Qingcheng and the rest to the Tiandao Sacred Academy first. Although the Daoask Lodge was also very safe, how could it be compared to the Tiandao Sacred Academy? Even hegemonic powers in the Mystic region wouldn't dare to cause trouble in the Sacred Academy. In the Daoask Lodge, when the serving girl saw Qin Wentian returning, she immediately took out her messaging crystal, as though she was informing someone. Very soon, the Violet Jade Fairy arrived. When she saw Qin Wentian and Qin Wentian's family, she walked up and smiled. Young Master Qin, in the past I said that I would prepare a heaven's equal residence for your friends. Now it has already been prepared. As for that person who changed the courtyard privately, we've already dealt with him. Qin Wentian smiled at the Violet Jade Fairy. I appreciate fairies' kind intentions. It's just that I have to bring them into the Sacred Academy for cultivation now. The beautiful eyes of the Violet Jade Fairy froze. She stared at the people around Qin Wentian. Clearly, they received the news and were waiting for him here. So many people, entering the Sacred Academy together? What kind of treatment did the Tiandao Sacred Academy give the Qingcheng Realm Lord? Chapter 1820. Qin Wentian brought Qingcheng, Qing'er and the others into the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Jun Mengchen and the others were naturally filled with curiosity and yearning for the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Very swiftly, Jun Mengchen became familiar with the Tiandao Sacred Academy and even made friends with many world overlords. His talent was extraordinary, and he had also comprehended an extraordinary world heart. Many world overlords were willing to become friends with him and cultivate together. He would also frequently explore the secret realms with Little Rascal, Nanfeng Yaoyue, and the other world overlords, or listen to the Tao lectures of supreme world overlords, discussing their cultivation experiences. They mutually verified their own Taos and improved together, benefiting greatly from this. Qin Wentian told Emperor Yu and the other members of the Battle Saint tribe about the Divine Ox clan. After they learned of the truth, all of them were filled with righteous indignation and didn't dare to reveal their strength easily. However, they put in even more effort in their cultivation as they felt an incomparably great pressure. Their enemy was actually a hegemonic power of the desolate region, the Divine Ox clan. At the same time, they also sighed in admiration. The talent of this generation's Saint Lord was truly supreme. He actually managed to reach this step and came into contact with the secrets of their Battle Saint tribe. As for Qin Wentian, he was naturally also busy with his cultivation. There were many secret realms in the Tiandao Sacred Academy that could allow one to cultivate innate techniques, and techniques of the Great Tao. Each of these secret realms represented a Tao inheritance that could allow one to gain deep insights. At this moment, in a secret realm, Qin Wentian stood on the peak of an ancient mountain. He stared up in the air only to see an illusory and blurry figure there. There was a formless energy in the air that was extremely terrifying, resembling Tao might. This was none other than the power of a Heaven Heart mandate. For experts at the World Overlord realm, they mainly cultivated their World Heart and Heaven Heart mandates. This was the foundation of stellar martial cultivators. With the suppression of their World Heart, there was no need for any other methods and they would be able to directly suppress their opponents. However, they also cultivated innate techniques and arts. Powerful Tao arts and Heaven Heart mandates complemented each other, giving them boundless might, allowing their strength to grow even more terrifying. As for the innate techniques and arts of world overlords, they couldn't simply rely on cultivating the techniques left behind by their predecessors. They had to rely on their own comprehensions, using their own Heaven Heart mandates to comprehend them, transforming them into their own strength. After all, everyone's Heaven Heart mandates were different. Only by doing so would they be able to unleash the strongest might. Qin Wentian's tiny astral being contained all sorts of techniques. All of them contained boundless might. Some of them could be cultivated by directly inserting Heaven Heart mandates into them. After that, after one's comprehension and tempering, they would be able to unleash their own Heaven Heart mandates, allowing them to unleash immense might. When he defeated Yu Chongkong, he had once unleashed a supremely powerful attack, fusing all the energy of his world heart into one, transforming it into a terrifying attack that injured Yu Chongkong. The power of that attack was something he had infused into his own world heart. Qin Wentian stared at the sky only to see that the shadow figure in the air was slowly moving. He stretched out his 5 fingers and slashed them downwards. In an instant, a formless energy manifested from his 5 fingers, penetrating through space, penetrating through the heavens and earth. Qin Wentian lifted his hand and blasted out. Light and darkness energy soared up, wanting to block that attack. However, that formless energy directly penetrated through the Heaven Heart mandates of Qin Wentian, directly slamming into Qin Wentian's body. In an instant, Qin Wentian only felt the might of the 5 fingers transforming into tribulation force. His entire body trembled uncontrollably as he endured the tribulation. When the tribulation force landed on him, the energy in his body seemed to be sealed. He couldn't move at all. If another finger shot over, he would surely die. 7 slaughter calamity finger. Qin Wentian mused in a low voice. The might of a single finger contained the 7 slaughter calamity force, able to penetrate through all attacks. It was tyrannical and invincible. After cultivating here for many days, Qin Wentian left this secret realm and headed to another secret realm to comprehend. This time around he came to a secret realm that was filled with Buddhist energy. There was an innate imprint technique here, and each imprint was infused with the power of a heaven heart mandate. When the imprints blasted over at the same time, Qin Wentian felt the light from the imprints enveloping the entire space. Even before the imprints landed, his body was already frozen in place, unable to move. The entire space was locked in place, and this was actually a technique that could freeze time. Although it was different, it achieved the same effect through different means, and the might of this technique was terrifying. Qin Wentian also saw an even more terrifying Dao art in another secret realm. When the other party glanced at him, his life seemed to be in the hands of the other party. Such an ability was simply heaven-defying. With just a glance from the other party, your life would be in the hands of the other party. How heaven-defying was this? After heading to the secret realms of the Tiandao Sacred Academy to cultivate, Qin Wentian no longer dared to have any arrogance in his heart. Although the ability to freeze time was heaven-defying, if he really encountered an extremely powerful major character, the other party would have too many methods to kill him. Those innate techniques comprehended using heaven heart mandates could kill him formlessly from a great distance away. After all, the number of world overlords he came into contact with was still too little. He was already a transcendent level world overlord when he broke through, and after that, he only came into contact with the lifelong realm lord. After that, he participated in the convention of the myriad realms and didn't experience many battles. He spent most of his time spectating. Time flowed by. Qin Wentian immersed himself in his cultivation in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. His family and friends were also immersed in it, and their improvements were very great. During this period he would occasionally contact Luotian Lei and ask her about her situation in the Luotian clan. Right now, through the Heavenly Dao Library, he had a general understanding of the Luotian clan. Unknowingly, several tens of years passed. During these tens of years, Qin Wentian felt that he had benefited greatly. He comprehended many types of innate techniques and Daos that were extremely powerful. He would also frequently listen to the Dao lectures of Goddess Dugu and gain new insights every time. Today, the atmosphere in the Tiandao Sacred Academy suddenly became a little chaotic. There seemed to be an undercurrent flowing as many people were discussing about a certain matter. This matter not only caused a huge commotion in the Tiandao Sacred Academy, it even caused a huge commotion in the external world. The hegemonic powers of the mystic region were all paying attention to this matter. Senior brother, are you still cultivating? Recently, the Tiandao Sacred Academy isn't very peaceful. At this moment, Qin Wentian, who was cultivating in a secret realm, suddenly heard Jun Mengchen's voice. Qin Wentian felt a little puzzled. The Tiandao Sacred Academy was a sacred ground and wouldn't participate in the conflicts of the external world. It didn't establish a power or fight for territory. It only focused on spreading the Dao. How could it not be peaceful? What happened? Qin Wentian asked. There's a person who wants to come to the Tiandao Sacred Academy, saying that he's here to seek the Dao. This caused a huge commotion. Even in the external world, there are many people discussing this. Even the mystic region is shaken by this. The major powers are all paying attention to this. Jun Mengchen spoke. I truly didn't expect that there would actually be such a famous character in the supreme ancient immortal realms. A single visit to seek the Dao caused such a huge commotion. Even the Tiandao Sacred Academy seems to be under a formless pressure. Who is it? Qin Wentian asked. He is the same as you, his surname is Qin and he came from the Heaven region. He seems to be a descendant of an extremely powerful peak clan in the Heaven region, and has supreme talent. Jun Mengchen spoke. In fact, he even has the title of Heaven's Son. How imposing! He actually referred to himself as Heaven's Son. Qin Wentian's heart suddenly trembled. His eyes gleamed with sharpness, gleaming with a terrifying coldness. Heaven region Qin clan Heaven's Son. Qin Dang Tian came. He wanted to come to Tiandao Sacred Academy. Qin Dang Tian was already a heavenly deity. Why did he come to Tiandao Sacred Academy? Did this have something to do with him? This shouldn't be possible. If the Qin clan knew about him, They would investigate him in secret instead of Qin Dangtian coming here. It's rumored that he only cultivated for a few thousand years before he became a heavenly deity. He is the youngest heavenly deity in the heaven region, and his talent can be said to be supreme. He has already broken through to the heavenly deity realm, and said that he came to Tiandao's Sacred Academy to seek the Tao. However, many people are guessing that his purpose isn't so simple. There's a high possibility that he came to Tiandao's Sacred Academy to seek the Tao. Jun Mingchen spoke. Qin Wentian naturally understood that the so-called Tao discussion was actually a competition to learn from each other. Qin Dongtian's ambitions were naturally extremely great. Back then, when he broke through to the heavenly deity realm, his first battle was against Qin Wentian's uncle, the Sky Order heavenly deity. He was defeated by Qin Wentian's uncle, the Sky Order heavenly deity, causing his name to resound through the world. Now that he came to Tiandao's Sacred Academy to seek the Tao, how could his purpose be so simple? I understand. I will exit this way. Qin Wentian spoke. After that, he left the secret realm. Because of this piece of news, his state of heart wavered slightly. Heaven's son was his destined enemy, a natural rival. From the moment they were born, their fates were already determined. Right now, he was going to Tiandao's Sacred Academy. Would it be possible for him to meet Heaven's son? After Qin Wentian left the secret realm, he first came to his senior brother, Divine Sound. Coincidentally, Divine Sound was also here to meet some friends. When he saw Qin Wentian, he smiled. Wentian, you have come. Senior brothers, what are you guys chatting about? Qin Wentian smiled. What can there be? Recently, the Tiandao Sacred Academy has suddenly become restless because of the news of the arrival of a certain person. Many people are discussing the purpose of his arrival. Seems like even a sacred ground like the Tiandao Sacred Academy would have its days of restlessness. Divine Sound replied. This person is the same as you. His surname is Qin and he is from the Qin clan of the Heaven region. You have read the ancient scrolls in the Heavenly Tao Library before. You should know about this power, right? Qin Wentian nodded. He felt some shock in his heart. He didn't expect that even his senior brother Divine Sound would be discussing this matter. From this, one could see how great the repercussions were. From this, one could also see how great the influence of this cousin of his was. Even before this person arrived, he had already caused such a huge commotion in the entire Tiandao Sacred Academy. This was truly something that the current Qin Wentian had no way to compare to. I've read about him in the ancient scrolls of the Qin clan before. He defeated the Sky Order heavenly deity in the first battle, and is known as Heaven's son. Senior brother, do you not know why he came to Tiandao Sacred Academy? Qin Wentian asked. I'm not sure. The news he released was that he is here to seek the Tao. Many people speculate that he might be here to discuss the Tao. Tiandao Sacred Academy is a place that stands aloof from worldly affairs. Yet it is publicly acknowledged as a sacred ground for cultivation. Since he chose to discuss the Tao here, there's nothing to be picky about, Divine Sound replied. Qin Wentian nodded. When will he arrive? 10 days later, he will enter the Tiandao Sacred Academy. However, there's no need for you to worry about this matter. There will be heavenly deities to deal with him, Divine Sound replied. Qin Wentian nodded. He then bade farewell and departed. Chapter 1821. During these few days, Qin Wentian's heart was filled with waves. This was because Qin Dangtian was about to arrive. This cousin of his who was known as Heaven's son, what sort of character would he be? Today, Qin Wentian received a transmission from Luo Shenlei. She spoke to him, Elder brother, I heard that Qin Dangtian will be heading to Tiandao Sacred Academy soon. Ma'am, he will arrive a few days later. Qin Wentian took out his messaging crystal and replied. After he spoke, silence filled the air. With regards to the enemy who crippled her father, Luo Shenlei must be filled with hatred. However, what could she do? Most probably, she wouldn't be able to catch up to Qin Dangtian. Only Qin Wentian had hope. Her father said that they were born to be enemies. But now, Qin Wentian wasn't Qin Dangtian's opponent. After all, Qin Dangtian has cultivated for thousands of years, and has broken through to the heavenly deity realm. Below heavenly deities, all lives were mortals. This was the perspective of heavenly deities. They comprehended the heavenly Tao and stood at a supreme height. Elder brother, be careful. A moment later, Luo Shenlei reminded him. Qin Wentian knew that she was worried. She was afraid that he would be impulsive and cause his identity to be revealed. If that was the case, the consequences would be unimaginable. Don't worry, Qin Wentian replied. After that, he kept his messaging crystal. What's wrong? Mo Qingcheng walked to the side of Qin Wentian and asked in a light voice. She could tell that something was weighing on Qin Wentian's mind during these few days. Qin Wentian turned his gaze over and stroked her hair. He smiled gently. I can resolve it. Okay. Mo Qingcheng smiled sweetly and didn't ask anymore. Qin Wentian naturally had his reasons for not telling her. Qin Wentian gently embraced Mo Qingcheng. He naturally knew that he had to be careful not only for himself. Right now, he had too many responsibilities on his shoulders. Qingcheng, Qing'er, both of them needed him. His life didn't just belong to him, it belonged to the people around him as well. Mo Qingcheng seemed to have sensed the fluctuations in Qin Wentian's emotions during these few days. Mo Qingcheng seemed to have sensed the fluctuations in Qin Wentian's emotions during these few days. She lightly leaned into his embrace and didn't say anything. Qing'er also quietly walked to his side and didn't say anything. Qin Wentian turned his head and stared at her. Qing'er's hair was completely white, yet it was hard for it to mask her magnificence. She was as cold as ever, quietly standing beside him and leaning on his arm, giving him a formless sense of warmth. The two women he loved, with their meticulous minds, could clearly sense the changes in Qin Wentian's emotions during these few days. Maybe the pressure on him was too great. Qin Wentian naturally felt pressure. The pressure he felt had never been so great before because he knew what sort of opponent he was facing. His destined enemy was already a heavenly deity, and was known as the Heaven's Son. He wasn't an ordinary heaven chosen but a supreme genius who stood at the peak, his name resounding throughout the 8 regions. His enemy was none other than a hegemonic power of the heaven region, the Qin clan. His father's vengeance, his uncle's hatred, all the responsibilities were on his shoulders. But his enemy was unprecedentedly powerful. Feeling the warmth from the two women, at this moment Qin Wentian's starry eyes were filled with incomparable determination. Finally, the day where the Heaven's Son would enter the Tiandao Sacred Academy arrived. Today a commotion broke out in Daoask City. Countless experts and characters gathered outside the Sacred Academy. There was a sea of people as they stared at the heavenly Dao stairway, leading to the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Today, a supreme character was about to arrive, stepping into the Tiandao Sacred Academy. This wasn't some random genius of a region, the weight of the heavenly Dao rankings couldn't be compared to him. He was known as the Heaven's Son and became a heavenly deity after a few thousand years. He crippled the heavenly mandate realm in a single battle, becoming a god, becoming famous throughout the 8 regions. The news of him coming to the Tiandao Sacred Academy has long circulated, causing a huge commotion. The attention of the various peak powers in the mystic region was all focused on the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Qin Dangtian, Heaven's Son, a future god king. A character who stood at the peak of the 33 immortal realms. What sort of character would he be? Countless people were filled with anticipation. Countless young ladies were filled with anticipation. Countless young men were all staring up at him. Today, many people were waiting at the top of the heavenly Dao stairway, leading to the Tiandao Sacred Academy. These people were naturally the cultivators of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. They also wanted to see what sort of character this legendary character of the heaven region, a supreme genius from the Qin clan was. Qin Wentian, Jun Mengchen and the others were also among the crowd. Jun Mengchen stared at the scene outside, at the sea of people below the stairway. He then sighed, when would I be so glorious? Wherever I go, I would be the center of attention of the entire world. Senior brother, what sort of character do you think the Heaven's Son is? Do you want to hear the truth? Qin Wentian smiled. Naturally. Jun Mengchen nodded. His senior brother was also a supreme character. In the future, he would surely shock all the geniuses of the past and present. He wanted to know what his senior brother's evaluation of Qin Dangtian was. In the future, he is the person I want to defeat. Qin Wentian stared at the horizons as he calmly spoke. Jun Mengchen's body trembled. After that, he laughed. This is my senior brother. So what if he is the heaven's son? Arrogant. A calm voice rang out. The person who spoke was a young man. His entire body radiated sharpness, like a supreme sword. This man was none other than a supreme genius on the heavenly Tao rankings, a descendant of the sword god Jian Chan. He was also the uncle of Jian Wuxian, whom Qin Wentian met back then. Qin Wentian naturally met him before, but there was no conflict between them. It was impossible for Jian Chan to find trouble for him, just because his nephew lost face in front of Qin Wentian. That wouldn't be the magnanimity of a world overlord. But when he heard Qin Wentian saying that he wanted to defeat the Heaven's Son, he still felt that Qin Wentian was too arrogant. Even for those rankers on the heavenly Tao rankings, they still didn't have the qualifications to be mentioned in the same breath as the Heaven's Son. Qin Wentian glanced at Jian Chan and didn't say anything. So what if he was arrogant? But this was his fate. He had to defeat Qin Dangtian no matter what. There was no other path. They're here. At this moment in the air far away, a commotion could be heard. After that, two figures appeared there walking over. In just a few steps, they already arrived before the heavenly Tao stairway. When the two of them descended, everything went completely silent. Not a single sound could be heard. It was as if the two of them were the only people left in the world. The two of them were too outstanding, so outstanding that no matter where they went, they would definitely become the main characters. Let alone when the two of them appeared together. Both of them were very young, one male and one female. The young man was clad in a cloak. His black hair fluttered in the wind. His eyes were incomparably deep, like the starry skies. His face was extremely angular, and with just a single glance, one would be unable to forget such a face. He exuded an extraordinary aura because he was a heavenly deity. Just by standing there, he exuded an aura that seemed to be peering down at the masses. This heavenly deity looked so young and so extraordinarily handsome. He was the future leader of the Qin clan, the Heaven's Son whose name shook the world, the youngest heavenly deity, Qin Dangtian of the Qin clan of the Heaven region. The other person was a female. Given Qin Dangtian's status, strength, talent, and status, who could be worthy of him? If there was one more person in the Heaven region, it would be none other than the female standing beside him. She stood there. Even the radiance radiating from Qin Dangtian couldn't obscure her radiance. She was so beautiful that it was suffocating. So beautiful that she could mesmerize the hearts and souls of people. It was like as long as you glanced at her, you would never be able to forget her for the rest of your life. There were no words that could describe her beauty because there were no words to describe it. Qin Dangtian stood beside her, yet he wasn't able to steal away her radiance. In truth, the number of gazes staring at her was even more compared to Qin Dangtian. She was the number one beauty of the Heaven region, Goddess Nikhang. In the Heaven region, only Goddess Nikhang was most compatible with Heaven's Son Qin Dangtian. It was like they were born together, a match made in heaven and earth. The rumors aren't false. Nichang's beauty can cause the entire world to lose color. For her, one can give up everything in the world. This woman must be her. A world overlord from the Tiandao Sacred Academy silently mused. How resolute was the heart of a world overlord. A beauty was able to cause a world overlord to feel such emotions. From this, one could very well imagine how beautiful she was. The words of the world are all useless now. Someone sighed. How beautiful. Jun Mengchen sincerely praised. Qin Wentian's gaze had always been on Qin Dangtian. Only now did he notice Goddess Nikhang. At the instant he saw her, he couldn't help but feel a little dazed. Although beauties were as common as the clouds around him, regardless of Qingchang, Qing'er or Yi Qinyu, all of them could be considered supreme beauties. But when he saw Goddess Nikhang, he couldn't help but admit that this was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. Her beauty was even above Qing'er and Qingcheng. That kind of transcendent beauty was like a true goddess from the 9 heavens. One day, if Qing'er and Qingcheng could reach her level, they might be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with her. Goddess Nikhang. Qin Wentian silently mused, instantly knowing her identity. He had been in the Heavenly Tao Library for many days. How could he not have seen the records of her? Goddess Nikhang was a true goddess. Her father was a divinity. Her grandfather was also a divinity. Her talent was also supreme, and if there was a Heavenly Tao ranking in the Heaven region, Goddess Nikhang would definitely be on it. Heaven's son or Goddess Nikhang, no matter which one of them appeared, it would definitely cause a huge commotion. Countless people would pay attention to them, let alone both of them appearing at the Tiandao Sacred Academy at the same time. It was like they were destined to be a pair. The people of the world could only look up to them in admiration. Qin Dangtian is here to pay a visit to the Tiandao Sacred Academy. At this moment, a voice rang out from Qin Dangtian. His aura was extraordinary, and as the sound of his voice faded, silence filled the air. I heard that Goddess Nichang's grandfather, Deity Chu, has a very good relationship with heavenly deity Qin Ding. Seems like the rumors are true. In the Tiandao Sacred Academy, a voice rang out. Heaven's son Qin Dangtian and Goddess Nikhang were together, like a match made in heaven. But in the past, there were no rumors of them being together. In the past, they weren't lovers. But what about now? Goddess Nichang's grandfather had a very good relationship with Qin Ding. In that case, their descendants, these two supreme young geniuses, had they already walked together like what the people of the world hoped for? Chapter 1822. Goddess Nikhang stood there like a goddess from the 9 heavens. Her clothes fluttered in the wind and she didn't say a word. It was like she came here today only to watch the show. Qin Dangtian's hair was as black as ink and his eyes were deep. He stared at the Tiandao Sacred Academy and spoke. The Tiandao Sacred Academy has been imparting knowledge for countless years and everyone admires you. You must have an extraordinary understanding of the heavenly Tao. Today I came here to seek the Tao. Please enter the Sacred Academy. A voice rang out from within the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Qin Dangtian stepped out, stepping on the stairway leading to the Sacred Academy. The experts from the Tiandao Sacred Academy on both sides all retreated, watching as the two of them walked past them. Qin Wentian stood beside Qin Dangtian. This was the first time he was looking at Qin Dangtian from such a close distance. Qin Dangtian's destined place right now was so extraordinary. His radiance was comparable to the sun and moon. Yet, Qin Dangtian directly walked past Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's heart trembled slightly as he drew in a deep breath. Goddess Nikhang also walked past him. That beautiful silhouette of hers had no expression on her face, but it couldn't mask her supreme charm. She was the #1 beauty in the heaven region. No one could stand shoulder to shoulder with her. At this moment, Qin Dangtian halted his steps. He turned his head and glanced at Qin Wentian. His deep eyes gleamed with a soul-stirring light. Qin Wentian's eyes narrowed as he stared at Qin Dangtian. Could it be that Qin Dangtian saw through something? This was impossible. He didn't have any bloodline power in him. Qin Dangtian wouldn't be able to sense it. Who are you? Qin Dangtian asked. The senses of heavenly deities were extremely sharp. He could sense that the gaze Qin Wentian used to look at him was different from everyone else. This feeling was very strange, but he could clearly sense it. I'm a student of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, the Qingcheng Realm Lord, Qin Wentian. The Divine Sound World Overlord walked to the side of Qin Wentian, worried that Qin Wentian would feel too much pressure. After all, the person before him was a supreme genius, a heavenly deity. He has never heard of the Qingcheng Realm Lord before. Although Qin Wentian's fame was great and many major powers were paying attention to him, so what of it? Who was he? He was the Heaven's Son, a supreme heavenly deity. He had never paid attention to those weaker than him. Right now in his eyes, there were only those characters who stood at the peak of the supreme ancient immortal realms. Surname Qin? Compared to the Qingcheng Realm Lord's name, he seemed to be more concerned about Qin Wentian's surname. Because Qin Wentian shared the same surname as him. In this world, how many people are worthy of the surname Qin? Qin Dangtian calmly spoke. After that, he turned his gaze over and entered the Tiandao Sacred Academy. To him, Qin Wentian was merely an insignificant minor character. Qin Wentian basically wouldn't be able to enter his world, and wouldn't be able to cause any ripples in his heart. There were so many people in this world with the surname Qin. Just outside the Tiandao Sacred Academy, there were many people with this surname. However, Qin Dangtian actually said that how many people were worthy of the surname Qin? How arrogant was this? However, as the Heaven's Son, the youngest heavenly deity in the immortal realms, he seemed to have the qualifications to say such words. Only the Qin clan was at the peak of the Qin surname. In this world, if the surname Qin was mentioned, the first name everyone would think of would be the Qin clan. Goddess Nikhang didn't turn her head back. It was like in this world, there was no one who was worthy of her glance. Wherever she went, the people in the world could only become her background. Qin Dangtian and Goddess Nikhang entered the Tiandao Sacred Academy together. On the Heavenly Tao stairway, the disciples of the Sacred Academy all followed them into the Sacred Academy. They wanted to see why Qin Dangtian paid a visit to the Tiandao Sacred Academy exactly. Outside the Tiandao Sacred Academy, countless people felt a sense of disappointment and frustration when they saw Qin Dangtian and Goddess Nikhang disappearing before their eyes. However, they didn't leave and chose to wait outside, wanting nothing more than to become a disciple of the Sacred Academy and enter the Sacred Academy to take a look. After Qin Dangtian and Goddess Nikhang entered the Sacred Academy, they continued forward. In the depths of the Sacred Academy, there was a formless aura guiding them. This was an invitation from a heavenly deity, wanting them to enter. Qin Dangtian naturally understood this. Many disciples of the Tiandao Sacred Academy followed behind them, heading deeper into the academy. However, when they reached the deepest part of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, it was no longer a place where ordinary disciples of the Tiandao Sacred Academy could enter. That place was the Divine Tao platform. Heavenly deities would occasionally give Tao lectures there. Those who were qualified to enter were only the disciples of heavenly deities. Senior brother, seems like I won't be able to see it. Jun Mengchen spoke in a low voice when he saw that place. Qin Dangtian and Goddess Nikhang had already entered. I will tell you when we return. Qin Wentian spoke. He was a student of Goddess Dugu and naturally had the qualifications to enter. His senior brother Shen Yi naturally had the qualifications as well. They followed together and entered the region ahead. The majority of the students of the Tiandao Sacred Academy remained outside. They were the same as the people outside the Tiandao Sacred Academy, wanting to know what would happen there exactly. On the Divine Tao platform, 3 figures could be seen sitting side by side. Goddess Dugu was actually one of them. She sat on the left side. Qin Wentian naturally understood what this meant. These 3 were all heavenly deities of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. All of them were welcoming Heaven's Son Qin Dangtian on the Divine Tao platform at the same time. This was already an extremely high standard. From this, one could see how highly they regarded Qin Dangtian, the youngest heavenly deity in the world, a character who defeated the Sky Order heavenly deity the moment he broke through to the heavenly deity realm. He was known as Heaven's Son, and the Tiandao Sacred Academy had no choice but to regard him highly. The 2 of you came from afar, please be seated. On the Divine Tao platform, there were 2 seats opposite to the 3 heavenly deities. Before heavenly deities, world overlords weren't qualified to sit. But because of Goddess Nichang's special status and because she came here together with Qin Dangtian, the heavenly deities of the Tiandao Sacred Academy also granted her a seat. Qin Dangtian entered the Divine Tao platform and sat opposite to the 3 heavenly deities. As for Goddess Nikhang, she didn't enter the Divine Tao platform. She stood outside and was incomparably quiet, quietly watching everything. Today, Qin Dangtian was the one who came here to seek the Tao of heavenly deities. Qin Wentian and the others also stood outside the Divine Tao platform, staring at the 3 heavenly deities sitting opposite to Qin Dangtian. Qin Dangtian faced the 3 heavenly deities of the Sacred Academy alone. His aura was as outstanding as ever, exuding boundless magnificence. I've long heard of the name Heaven's Son. Now that I've seen him for myself, he is even more outstanding than the rumors. The heavenly deity sitting in the middle spoke. This was an old man clad in starry robes. He exuded a transcendent aura. Junior, please guide me. I've long admired the name of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Today, I came here to seek guidance from all of you. What is the heavenly Tao? What is the heavenly Tao? Qin Dangtian seemed humble, but his tone was filled with arrogance. The moment he opened his mouth, he invited the heavenly deities to guide him, asking them what the heavenly Tao was. The heavenly Tao is the Divine Tao. Those who can comprehend it would become heavenly deities. The heavenly Tao is unfathomable. We can only comprehend it. How can we explain it clearly? The heavenly deity in the middle spoke. Everything in the world has its own laws. Humans can come into contact with them. The so-called heavenly Tao is nothing more than strength. It can also be comprehended. If not, how would seniors have your current accomplishments? How would I be able to sit here? Since there are laws that can be found, how can there be unfathomable things? I can't believe seniors' words. Qin Dangtian spoke, doubting the words of the heavenly deity of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. The comprehension of the heavenly Tao is based on the heart. Even for us heavenly deities of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, we also have different understandings. It's not strange that Heaven's Son doesn't agree with my words. The old man calmly spoke. It's not that we have different understandings. It's just that seniors' words are a fallacy and are wrong. Qin Dangtian calmly spoke. His arrogant words caused the eyes of the disciples of the Tiandao Sacred Academy to gleam with sharpness. This Heaven's Son truly wasn't polite at all. They were all heavenly deities. What qualifications did he have to say such arrogant words? Since this is the case, what is your understanding of the heavenly Tao? Goddess Dugu asked. She exuded boundless charm, and although her beauty was inferior to Goddess Nikhang, her aura wasn't inferior at all. She was a true divinity. The heavenly Tao is the human Tao. Humans can triumph over the heavens. I'm a deity, my Tao is the heavenly Tao. I don't need to comprehend the heavenly Tao. Qin Dangtian slowly spoke. He then continued, my life's pursuit has always been to pursue myself, to break through the shackles of my own self. Now that I'm already a heavenly deity, my Tao itself represents the so-called heavenly Tao. Humans themselves are above the heavenly Tao. The three heavenly deities had looks of contemplation on their faces. They didn't glare at Qin Dangtian because of his arrogant words. Instead, they were contemplating. They were all heavenly deities. Even if Qin Dangtian's words were arrogant, there was still a need to ponder over them. From a certain perspective, he was right. Heavenly deities, just by standing there, they represented the power of the heavenly Tao. Maybe so. Our understandings are different. You feel that I'm wrong. But for me, I still believe in my own comprehension. The heavenly deity in the middle spoke. Everyone's comprehension was different. This was especially so when one reached the highest realm. It was impossible to say who was absolutely right and who was absolutely wrong. Tiandao Sacred Academy is a place of Tao transmission. However, I don't dare to agree with what you said today. You are inferior to your reputation. Qin Dangtian directly spoke. At this moment, the three heavenly deities couldn't help but frown. Tiandao Sacred Academy was a place of Tao transmission. Qin Dangtian's words already contained a hint of humiliation. Since you claim to be a junior, aren't your words a little too arrogant? You have no one in your eyes. The middle-aged heavenly deity on the right also spoke, his tone filled with unhappiness. Although heavenly deities had good self-restraint, it didn't mean that they wouldn't be angered. Although I refer to all of you as seniors, there's a difference in my understanding of the Tao. My comprehension might not be inferior to all of you. Since our views are different, we can only discuss the Tao and seek guidance. Qin Dangtian spoke. The three heavenly deities stared at each other. As expected, Heaven's Son actually issued a challenge to the heavenly deities of Tiandao Sacred Academy. Today he came with ill intentions. It wasn't a simple matter of seeking guidance. Everyone in the world knew that Qin Dangtian came to Tiandao Sacred Academy. Outside the Sacred Academy, countless people were spectating. Right now, Qin Dangtian used the Tao discussion as an excuse to issue a challenge. Tiandao Sacred Academy had no choice but to accept. The three heavenly deities stared at Qin Dangtian only to hear Goddess Dugu speaking. Since Heaven's Son is interested in discussing the Tao, I'm willing to experience Heaven's Son's Tao. Goddess Dugu accepted the challenge. Outside the Divine Tao platform, the eyes of Qin Wentian and the others gleamed with sharpness. Today, they would be able to personally witness the Tao discussion between heavenly deities right before their eyes. Qin Wentian really wanted to see how strong this person was exactly. Chapter 1823. Qin Dangtian's expression was as calm as ever when he saw Goddess Dugu accepting the challenge. Today, he came to the Tiandao Sacred Academy to seek the Tao. He would definitely defeat a heavenly deity. There was no suspense at all. Please, Qin Dangtian spoke. Goddess Dugu stood up. At this moment, the divine Tao platform radiated boundless light, enveloping the heavens and earth. Goddess Dugu's silhouette flashed as she soared up into the air. In an instant, it was as though she was standing in the middle of the boundlessly vast starry space. At this moment, the divine Tao platform was already sealed, connecting to the heavens. The people outside could only see it, but they couldn't enter. They wouldn't be affected by the aftershocks either. The three heavenly deities of the Tiandao Sacred Academy didn't stop the students of the Tiandao Sacred Academy from spectating, even though there was a possibility that they might lose. Tiandao Sacred Academy taught the Tao. A battle between heavenly deities was by itself one of the best ways to impart the Tao. It was extremely rare to encounter a battle between heavenly deities even once in 10,000 years. By allowing these most outstanding students to spectate, it would naturally be beneficial to them. Qin Dangtian stood up. His silhouette flashed as he soared up into the air as well. At this instant, his black hair fluttered in the wind, exuding an unexcelled might. At this moment, in the boundless starry space, tens of millions of Goddess Dugu's silhouettes appeared. Each silhouette was as beautiful as the original, incomparably beautiful. With so many Goddess Dugu appearing at the same time, the entire starry space lost its color. The countless Dugu deities transformed into numerous diagrams that directly shot towards Qin Dangtian. They were like countless shooting stars, capable of penetrating through time. Each of the diagrams contained the power of Dugu deities' lifetime of cultivation. When they unleashed their attacks at the same time, even the starry space seemed to be on the verge of being destroyed, as though the sky itself was about to be pierced through. Qin Dangtian stood there like a mountain. Boundless treasure light radiated from him as countless ancient characters floated around him. Each ancient character contained boundless energy and radiated a radiance that pierced through the sky. In addition, the colors of these ancient characters were all different. The Qin Dangtian at this moment had truly transformed into a heavenly divinity. The treasure light enveloped him, exuding a solemn and divine aura. One of the ancient characters resembled the imprint of a Taoist deity, radiating a resplendent light. In an instant, his entire body shone with a boundlessly resplendent crimson light, illuminating the entire starry space. It was as though a sun had appeared, capable of incinerating everything in the world. Numerous diagrams of the Dugu deity were engulfed within. Some were weakened, but there were simply too many diagrams. Their might was endless, and in the end even the sun was destroyed. However, at this moment, the ancient characters around Qin Dangtian unceasingly shone with light. One of the golden ancient characters radiated a sky-blotting radiance. In an instant, the entire starry space seemed to come to a standstill. The countless diagrams of the Dugu deity were all locked in place, unable to move. It was as though time and space had stopped. Almost at the same time, the power of the other ancient characters slammed into Empyrean Dugu. In the blink of an eye, the boundless image of Empyrean Dugu vanished without a trace. Only one person remained standing there, and that was none other than Empyrean Dugu's true self. "What power is this?" Goddess Dugu asked. "I've said it before. The human Tao is the heavenly Tao. The power of heavenly Tao is merely controlled by humans. Since I'm a divinity, I naturally represent the heavenly Tao of this world. The ancient characters around me each contain a type of heavenly Tao energy. There's no need for me to unleash too much of the power of the ancient characters to defeat you." Qin Dangtian calmly spoke. "I also know that Goddess Dugu is proficient in the ability to copy the power of the myriad of things. However, you have no way to copy my ability." The three heavenly deities of the Tiandao Sacred Academy sighed in their hearts. The ancient characters around him each represented a type of heavenly Tao energy. If this was the case, who in the heavenly deity realm would be able to defeat this heaven's sun? Back then, although the news of the Sky Order heavenly deity being crippled circulated around the world, not many people knew about the details of that battle. Only today did they truly understand how powerful this heaven's sun was. Goddess Dugu stared at the ancient characters around Qin Dangtian as she sighed in her heart. "I'm inferior to you." She was a heavenly deity, yet she admitted that she was inferior to Qin Dangtian. Qin Wentian and the other disciples of the Sacred Academy felt shock in their hearts. Goddess Dugu was actually defeated? Very clearly, there was a disparity between the two of them. Maybe this wasn't Qin Dangtian's true strength. What was heaven's sun? This was precisely heaven's son. He was born extraordinary. Even though they were all heavenly deities, he could easily make other heavenly deities admit that they were inferior to him. Being able to face defeat so calmly, your demeanor is truly extraordinary. However, why can't you all admit that your comprehensions of the heavenly Tao are wrong? Qin Dangtian calmly spoke. Even if he is defeated, he still insists that he has his own comprehensions of the heavenly Tao. What you feel to be correct might not necessarily be correct to others. The heavenly deity in the middle replied. Qin Dongtian's words were too domineering. He actually wanted them to admit that their comprehensions of the heavenly Tao were wrong. Haha. You are just twisting words and forcing logic down my throat. Since Senior feels this way, in that case the other two heavenly deities please guide me together. Qin Dangtian challenged the other two heavenly deities, and even wanted them to guide him together. Did this mean that he wanted to fight against two heavenly deities at the same time? The two of us naturally won't fight at the same time. However, if we fight one-on-one, I'm afraid we would be the same as Dugu, defeated by the heavenly deities. In that case, there's no need for us to fight anymore. The old man in the middle calmly spoke. The hearts of the people from Tiandao's Sacred Academy trembled. They didn't understand how strong Qin Dangtian was, but was he really so strong that he could make three heavenly deities admit defeat? Although they weren't willing to admit it, it was very clear that this was the case. Some people were born different from others. At the same cultivation realm, they could easily suppress their opponents. You all have the courage to admit defeat, but not the courage to admit your mistakes? Or could it be that you guys are worried that the qualifications of Tiandao Sacred Academy to spread the Tao might be questioned? Qin Dongtian's tone was extremely domineering. He and Dugu had already descended below the Divine Tao platform and returned to their seats. The seal on the Divine Tao platform was also undone. The three heavenly deities were actually forced into silence. Their strength was inferior to Qin Dongtian's. Their words were naturally not persuasive at all. Tiandao's Sacred Academy has been spreading the Tao for countless years. How can we doubt it just because of a single battle? How ridiculous! At this moment a voice rang out. Qin Dangtian slowly turned his gaze over, staring at Qin Wentian outside the Divine Tao platform. What else can be more persuasive than a Tao debate? Qin Dangtian calmly replied, basically not placing Qin Wentian in his heart. Just because you won a single battle, you want others to admit their mistakes in their cultivation and acknowledge you? If you want to stand above the masses, those who submit to you will definitely prosper. You can't listen to any rebellious voices. You want others to acknowledge your values? This isn't comprehending the heavenly Tao. It's being muddle-headed and tyrannical. When Qin Dangtian saw that Qin Wentian still dared to continue speaking, he questioned, "Do you understand the heavenly Tao?" Not waiting for Qin Wentian to reply, he continued, "Am I the one who understands the heavenly Tao, or are you the one? You are just an ant. You haven't even come into contact with the heavenly Tao. What qualifications do you have to speak before me? Shut up." These words would definitely cause everyone to be speechless. However, Qin Wentian's gaze was as resolute as ever. He stared at Qin Dongtian's deep eyes and calmly spoke, "Just like what you said before, there's a difference in understanding the Tao. When the heavenly deities of the Tiandao Sacred Academy started spreading their Tao, you most probably weren't even born yet. Now, you are actually so arrogant before them. 1,000 years later, I will definitely tell you whether you understand the heavenly Tao or I do." 1,000 years? Qin Dongtian's eyes flashed with mockery. On his path of cultivation, he had seen too many arrogant people. However, all of them were trampled under his feet. This person was no exception. In fact, he couldn't even be bothered with him. He turned his head back, no longer glancing at Qin Wentian. He didn't know the Qingcheng Realm Lord. He had never heard of him before. Unless one was a heavenly deity, they wouldn't be able to enter his eyes. Is the headmaster not in the Sacred Academy? Qin Dangtian suddenly asked, asking the headmaster of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. The three heavenly deities stared at Qin Dangtian. Why are you asking this? Could it be that Qin Dangtian wanted to challenge the headmaster of the Tiandao Sacred Academy? Although Qin Dongtian's talent was extremely high, this was basically impossible. Right now, Qin Dangtian still didn't have the qualifications to do so. Maybe he would be able to do so in the future. Since seniors admit that you are inferior to me, and the Tiandao Sacred Academy is also spreading their Dao, in that case, is there a place that I can enter? Qin Dangtian asked. The eyes of the three heavenly deities all flashed with a dazzling light as they stared at Qin Dangtian. Was this his true purpose for coming here? Qin Dangtian actually had such ambition, wanting to enter that legendary place. You are Heaven's son and have already broken through to the heavenly deity realm. You are also not a student of the Sacred Academy. You naturally won't be able to enter. The old man spoke. I've been pursuing the limits of the Tao my entire life. Since I've already broken through to the heavenly deity realm, wouldn't it be better for me to comprehend the Tao even more deeply? As for being a student of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, I came to the Tiandao Sacred Academy to seek for the Tao. It's not impossible for me to become a student of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, as long as the Tiandao Sacred Academy allows me to enter. Qin Dangtian calmly stared at them. Seniors, since all three of you admit that you are inferior to me, let me ask you, who else is more suitable than me to enter? You are twisting words and forcing logic down my throat. The old man spoke. Seems like the Tiandao Sacred Academy is nothing but an undeserved reputation. I will stay in the Daoask Lodge for 3 months and wait for you all to ask the headmaster of the Sacred Academy for his opinion. If he agrees, I will enter the Sacred Academy again. If he doesn't, everyone in the world will naturally know that the so-called educating everyone regardless of background, is nothing but a lie. After speaking, Qin Dangtian stood up again and said, farewell. After speaking, he directly turned his head and walked out of the Divine Tao platform, showing no reluctance at all. Goddess Nikhang quietly watched everything. From the start to the end she didn't say anything. After Qin Dangtian left, she also followed him and walked out of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. The three heavenly deities stared at Qin Dangtian's back, all of them speechless. Today, the Tiandao Sacred Academy was humiliated because of a single person. As the saying goes, there would always be a heavens chosen in every generation. In the supreme ancient immortal realms, who could obstruct the rise of heavens chosen? Their Tiandao Sacred Academy was in trouble. Qin Wentian stared at Qin Dangtian's departing back. After Qin Dangtian left, Qin Wentian didn't even glance at him. It was like in Qin Dangtian's eyes, he, Qin Wentian, was merely an insignificant character. He was the heavens chosen, the future overlord of the Qin clan. In his eyes, how could there be a world overlord? The him now basically didn't expect that in the future, this world overlord would decide his life, becoming his greatest enemy, his mortal enemy. Chapter 1824. When Qin Dangtian stepped out of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, he still attracted the attention of countless people. In truth, even if Qin Dangtian stayed in the Tiandao Sacred Academy for a long time, they would still be willing to continue waiting. Just Qin Dangtian alone was worth them waiting for. In addition, countless people were filled with anticipation, wanting to see the number one beauty of the heaven region once again. Qin Dangtian actually came out so quickly. What happened in the Tiandao Sacred Academy? Countless people mused in their hearts. However, Qin Dangtian directly departed. He didn't stay here. Goddess Nikhang also left together with him. However, Qin Dangtian didn't leave far away. He stopped at the Daoask Lodge not far away, preparing to stay there. The Lodge Lord of the Daoask Lodge personally came out to welcome him, leading him into the Heaven Equal Lodge. Just when countless people were filled with anticipation about what happened in the Tiandao Sacred Academy, news finally circulated out from the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Heaven's son Qin Dangtian came to the Tiandao Sacred Academy and challenged the heavenly deities of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. After he was defeated, the three heavenly deities all admitted that they weren't qualified to enter Qin Dangtian's ranks. When this news circulated out, Daoask City was shaken. This news swiftly circulated to the various regions of the Mystic Region, and then to the other regions of the Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms. Heaven's son Qin Dangtian's name once again swept through the Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms like a storm. In fact, there was even a rumor circulating in the Immortal Realms. Heaven's son has entered the world. Heavenly deities tremble. As long as the God King doesn't appear, who can contend against him? Qin Dangtian's name was like the sun in the sky. No one could surpass him. Heaven's son Qin Dangtian entering the sacred academy caused the attention of the various regions. This caused a huge commotion in the supreme ancient immortal realms. After that, more insider information was leaked. Qin Dangtian didn't leave the Daoist Lodge because he was waiting for news from the Tiandao Sacred Academy. He entered the Tiandao Sacred Academy because he wanted to enter the legendary place in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. That place was his true target. Tiandao Sacred Academy. Only that legendary place would attract heaven's sons. Given Qin Dangtian's supreme talent, could it be that Qin Dangtian wanted to enter the Sacred Academy to seek the Tao? Who could teach him? Only he could teach others. However, how many people had the qualifications to enter that legendary place? Would the headmaster of the Tiandao Sacred Academy allow Qin Dangtian to enter? In terms of talent, Qin Dangtian seemed to have faintly touched the boundary of that level. If he wasn't qualified, how many people in the supreme ancient immortal realms would have the qualifications to enter the legendary place? There were also countless people who were puzzled. Were the rumors true? Did the legendary place really exist in Tiandao Sacred Academy? What was in that legendary place that was worthy for the chosen one to descend upon the Tiandao Sacred Academy, defeat the heavenly deities, and display his peerless talent in order to obtain the qualifications to enter? Of course, the legendary place only existed in legends. Very few people actually knew about it. These were all stories to be told later. After Qin Dangtian left the Sacred Academy, the three heavenly deities sank into contemplation. Deity Dugu spoke to the people outside the Divine Tao platform. You guys can leave first. Yes. Qin Wentian and the others nodded. They bowed and retreated, leaving this place. However, their hearts weren't calm at all. Not only for Qin Wentian, the hearts of everyone here were filled with great waves of shock. They came to the Tiandao Sacred Academy to seek the Tao because this was a holy ground for cultivation. This was where many of them believed in. However, Qin Dangtian earlier seemed to have shattered their faith. The three heavenly deities admitted that they were inferior before Heaven's Son. What was the heavenly Tao? Qin Dangtian said that his Tao was the heavenly Tao. His will was the heavenly Tao. How tyrannical was this? Could it be that the heavenly deities of the Sacred Academy were wrong? Qin Wentian didn't feel troubled because of this. If Qin Dangtian wasn't strong, how could he be known as Heaven's Son? If Qin Dangtian wasn't strong, how could he cripple his uncle? How could he be worthy of being the son of Qin Zheng, the greatest enemy of his father Qin Yuanfeng, the grandson of Qin Ding? It was only natural for him to defeat a heavenly deity. He wasn't troubled, but he could still feel the pressure from Qin Dangtian. Many ancient words revolved around Qin Dangtian. Each of them represented a type of heavenly Tao energy. How powerful was this ability? After they left, the heavenly deity sitting in the center sighed. I didn't expect that the Qin clan, which was originally already so powerful, would welcome a third generation of glory. The strength of the Qin clan has already lasted for 3 generations. Starting from Qin Tiangang and Qin Ding, the two of them displayed supreme talent. Qin Tiangang was invincible, but sadly, he died mysteriously in the end. However, Qin Ding was still alive. The next generation, Qin Zheng and Qin Yuanfeng, inherited their father's talent. Sadly, the Qin clan didn't accept Qin Yuanfeng and killed him. These 2 generations truly made people sigh with sorrow. Right now, the 3rd generation, Heaven's Son Qin Dangtian, has appeared. His talent was in no way inferior compared to his father's generation. It's my fault. Goddess Dugu softly spoke. She had been defeated. How can we blame you? I've already said it. Even if one of us acted, the ending would be the same. Our Tiandao Sacred Academy is in danger. The old man sighed. The 2 of them fell silent. Although it was just a battle, they understood what this meant. This meant that the faith of many people would crumble. The 3 heavenly deities of the Sacred Academy couldn't win against Qin Dangtian. What would the people of the world think? What would the countless people who sought the Tao in Tiandao Sacred Academy think? Also, the influence of this battle wasn't limited to just this. Heaven's Son, how domineering was he? He said that he wanted to enter that legendary place. Given his opponent's strength, if they didn't allow him to enter, there would surely be a storm stirred up. However, given the arrogant personality of this man, how could the headmaster allow him to enter? Just like what Qin Wentian said, this man was a ruthless hegemon. Only those who obeyed him would be able to prosper. As long as his will was there, others wouldn't dare to oppose it. Our sacred academy has been flourishing for countless years. The headmaster once said that there would be a calamity in the future. I wonder if this matter would be the fuse for that calamity. The middle-aged man spoke. Should we inform the headmaster about this matter? Can the matters that happened in Tiandao Sacred Academy be hidden from the headmaster? When the headmaster of Tiandao Sacred Academy was mentioned, only then did the old man in the middle reveal a smile. The other two heavenly deities also smiled and nodded. That's right, how could the matters that happened in Tiandao Sacred Academy be hidden from the headmaster? There was basically no need for them to say anything. Qin Wentian returned to his courtyard and told Jun Mengchen and the others about the battle. Jun Mengchen and the others all sighed with admiration. I didn't expect Heaven's Son to be so powerful. Even the heavenly deities of Tiandao Sacred Academy are inferior to him. Don't worry. In the future when Wentian becomes a heavenly deity, wouldn't there be a heavenly deity in Tiandao Sacred Academy who can defeat him? Little rascal spoke in his baby-like voice. Qin Wentian unhappily glanced at him. Jun Mengchen also nodded and smiled. That's right. Senior brother already said that in the future, that person would definitely be defeated by senior brother. I didn't expect him to be so arrogant. I'm also very unhappy with him. What a waste of a supreme beauty. Why? Do you like her? Qin Wentian smiled. How can that be? It's just that this woman is simply too beautiful. Jun Mengchen spoke. Qin Wentian nodded. He couldn't help but to admit it. She is the #1 beauty of the heaven region, goddess Nikhang. Qin Wentian spoke. The #1 beauty of the heaven region? No wonder. Jun Mengchen mumbled. I have to cultivate well too. Maybe in the future, I would also be able to surpass Heaven's Son. Jun Mengchen smiled. Senior brother, I will leave first. Qin Wentian nodded. Little rascal also followed purgatory and left this place. After everyone left, only Qin Wentian, Qing Qingcheng and Yi Qinyu remained in the courtyard. Qing saw that Qin Wentian was in contemplation again. She quietly walked to his side, her beautiful eyes staring at Qin Wentian as she spoke in a light voice. You are acquainted with him, right? Qin Wentian started. He glanced at Qing in bewilderment only to see Qing beautiful eyes staring at him. She stretched out her hand and held his tightly as she spoke in a light voice. I'm your wife. No matter what you experience, I will bear it together with you. Qin Wentian stared at Qing as he sighed in his heart. Now Heaven's Son has appeared. Maybe he should tell them some things. As his women, they had the qualifications to know the truth. In the past, he didn't tell them because he was worried that they would leak the secret. If they didn't even have this bit of trust, how could they be together? He trusted them more than he trusted himself. These women who loved him deeply were willing to give up everything for him, even if it was their lives. He didn't want them to bear the pressure on him. However, the appearance of Heaven's Son had already caused his heart to feel uneasy many times. Qing and Qingcheng, who were extremely meticulous, could also sense it. Qin Wentian sealed this space. He rubbed Qing's white hair as he spoke in a gentle voice. You are the smart one. Qingcheng. Qinyu, I've never told you guys about my true identity. In truth, I already knew about it. Now it's about time for me to tell you guys. Qin Wentian slowly spoke. Before this, during the convention, Layer found Qingcheng while searching for treasures. At that time, I'm sure Qing and Qingcheng should have already guessed that mother has a connection with the Luoshan clan. Luoshan Lei is my younger sister, the daughter of my uncle Qin. My mother came from the Luoshan clan. And before this, that Heaven's Son, Qin Dangtian, came from the Qing clan of the Heaven region and can be considered my cousin. My father also came from that clan. However, the Qin clan and that Heaven's Son's father used despicable methods to snatch away everything that belonged to my father. Qingcheng and Qing's beautiful eyes stared at Qin Wentian as their hearts trembled. Although they had already guessed a little, when Qin Wentian told them the truth, they were still extremely shocked. He actually had such an extraordinary identity. Qin Wentian's father came from the Qing clan of the Heaven region. His mother came from the Luoshan clan of the Desolate region. Both of them were peak powers of the supreme ancient immortal realms. Heaven's son Qin Dongtian's first battle after stepping into the heavenly deity realm. He crippled my uncle who went to seek justice for my parents. My uncle said that he and I are fated enemies, destined to be born together. Qin Wentian laughed. The three maidens were shocked, but they also understood why Qin Wentian's state of mind was so unstable during these few days. He is someone I have to defeat. Qin Wentian spoke. I believe you. Qing Cheng smiled. During these years, those so-called enemies, which one of them didn't you surpass? Qin Dangtian is merely one of them. Qin Wentian started. After that, he laughed uproariously. Qing Cheng, what you said seems to be very logical. The heaven's chosen one would only be one of those people in the past. Chapter 1825. Qin Dangtian would stay in the Taoist Lodge for 3 months and wait for the Tiandao Sacred Academy's decision. When this news circulated, everyone in the world knew that Qin Dangtian wanted to enter the legendary place. Would the Tiandao Sacred Academy agree? Many peak powers in the supreme ancient immortal realms were paying attention to this. Today, a group of experts walked out from the Tiandao Sacred Academy. With Divine Sound as their representative, they came to the Taoist Lodge to pay a visit to Heaven's son Qin Dangtian. Qin Dangtian didn't come out to welcome them. He stood in the Equal Heaven residence and asked, has the Tiandao Sacred Academy made a decision? Divine Sound nodded. Teacher told me to come here to pass on a message. Although Heaven's son is extremely talented, he isn't suitable to enter the legendary place of the Sacred Academy. The surroundings of the Taoist Lodge were as many as the clouds. They seemed to have already expected this result. Qin Dangtian came so domineeringly and humiliated the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Although this proved his unrivaled talent and combat prowess, it was clearly impossible for him to make the Tiandao Sacred Academy lower its head and invite him to enter the legendary place. Is this a rejection? Qin Dongtian's voice rang out from the Equal Heaven residence again. Has the Tiandao Sacred Academy thought this through? Teacher told me to pass on a message. Divine Sound's expression didn't change as he calmly spoke. Facing the Heaven's son who defeated a heavenly deity and rejecting him, one needed a certain level of courage. He was someone who defeated a heavenly deity of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Qin Wentian also came and stood beside the Divine Sound World Overlord, acting as a messenger. The Tiandao Sacred Academy only has an undeserved reputation. Qin Dangtian calmly spoke. 3 heavenly deities discussed the Tao with me and were defeated. Yet, they refused to admit that they didn't understand the heavenly Tao at all. They used the pretense of teaching everyone in the world without discrimination to gain fame. Right now, the students of the Heavenly Tao Sacred Academy are everywhere in the world. The experts in the academy are as many as the clouds. Although they stand aloof from worldly affairs and won't participate in the disputes of the mortal world, in truth, the Sacred Academy has already accumulated a lot of power. How is this different from the other major powers? Divine Sound and the others all had expressions of unhappiness on their faces. Qin Dangtian was openly insulting the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Also, in the Taoist Lodge not far away from the Tiandao Sacred Academy, this place was the territory of the Sacred Academy. Yet, Qin Dangtian was speaking frankly with assurance, insulting the Sacred Academy for having an undeserved reputation. Heaven's son, why must you use your own thoughts to judge others? Teacher once said that Heaven's son is too arrogant and has nothing in his eyes. He doesn't allow anyone to have a different opinion, even if it's regarding his comprehension of the heavenly Tao. However, Heaven's son's talent is also at the peak. If you are allowed to enter the legendary place of the Sacred Academy, it would only be a calamity for you. Divine Sound no longer stood on ceremony and mocked. If Qin Dangtian didn't say the last sentence, he wouldn't have mentioned this. A gaze seemed to penetrate through space, staring at Divine Sound. An incomparably terrifying pressure bore down on him, but at the same time, a beam of light flashed from afar. In the direction of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, a voice rang out. I was the one who told him to bring this message. Given your status, I believe you wouldn't make things difficult for them. Haha! Qin Dangtian laughed uproariously, causing the sky to tremble and the earth to tremble. He spoke in a clear voice. The sacred academy that has an undeserved reputation actually dares to spread their teachings in the supreme ancient immortal realms. This is simply the shame of the world. Such a sacred academy shouldn't continue to exist in the supreme ancient immortal realms. It should be disbanded. As the sound of his voice faded, silence filled the surroundings. What an arrogant heaven's son! He actually said that the Tiandao Sacred Academy shouldn't exist and should be disbanded. Could it be that Heaven's Son wanted to declare war against the Tiandao Sacred Academy? It seemed that he had the qualifications to do so. Other than his own incomparable strength, there was also the powerful Qin clan of the Heaven region behind him. Qin Dongtian's voice was undoubtedly like a bolt of thunder in a clear sky to Daoask City. A heavenly deity wouldn't speak without thinking. Farewell, I will pay a visit to the Sacred Academy again in the future. Qin Dongtian calmly spoke. After that, a raging wind gushed forth from the Heaven Equal residence. After that, Qin Dongtian departed. There was no longer anyone in the Heaven Equal residence. As for the number one beauty of the Heaven region, Goddess Nikhang, she most probably left together with him. Heaven's Son left, but before he left behind a message that caused huge waves of commotion in Daoask City. It felt like a huge storm was about to descend as black clouds loomed over the city. Divine Sound stood there and was speechless for a long time. After that, he spoke, "Let's return." His expression was heavy because of a single sentence from Heaven's Son Qin Dongtian. The group of them left the Daoask Lodge. Divine Sound didn't say a word. Qin Wentian spoke, "Senior brother, you seem to be very worried. This matter has already caused a huge commotion and would affect our Tiandao Sacred Academy greatly. Also, what sort of character is Qin Dongtian? He is incomparably arrogant and is a heavenly deity. The words of heavenly deities naturally wouldn't be spoken randomly. Every word of theirs might contain deep meanings." Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed sharply. Qin Dongtian said that the Sacred Academy shouldn't continue to exist in the supreme ancient immortal realms and should be disbanded. Could it be that the Qin clan still wanted to act against the Tiandao Sacred Academy? Could it be that Qin Dongtian didn't mind starting a deity-level war just to enter the legendary Tiandao Sacred Academy? If that was the case, it would truly be a world-shaking tempest. I faintly heard the people of the Sacred Academy mentioning that our Tiandao Sacred Academy would face a calamity soon. I wonder if it was referring to this incident. During these days, Teacher has been staying in the Sacred Academy, and he seems to be worried as well. Divine Sound sighed silently. Even a heavenly deity was worried. From this, one could tell that this matter wouldn't be so simple. Qin Dongtian's words soon circulated through Daoask City, causing a commotion. In the Tiandao Sacred Academy, the hearts of everyone were wavering. They were thinking about the impact of this matter and how things would develop in the future. What would happen next? Many peak powers were paying attention to this matter. For the next period of time, news of this matter circulated through the Mystic region. The various peak powers were also paying attention to this matter. At this moment, a voice rang out from the Ziwei Divine Court. It was said that this was the voice of a heavenly deity from the Ziwei Divine Court. He said that he agreed with the words of Heaven's Son Qin Dongtian. The Tiandao Sacred Academy was fishing for fame and reputation, and there were suspicions of them deceiving the world. As the sound of this voice faded, waves of commotion rose again. A single sentence from the Ziwei Divine Court caused an earthquake in the Mystic region. Were they agreeing with Qin Dongtian? The Ziwei Divine Court was one of the three hegemonic powers in the Mystic region. What did their attitude signify? Seems like the Ziwei Divine Court also didn't wish for a power like the Tiandao Sacred Academy to exist in the Mystic region. Could it be that those lofty powers no longer wanted to see the existence of the Sacred Academy? For countless years, the influence of the Tiandao Sacred Academy in the Mystic region was extremely great. Although they controlled others, they only used the method of guiding their disciples and weren't considered a pure hegemonic power. However, if a war really broke out, the Tiandao Sacred Academy would be able to erupt forth with shocking power. Their disciples could be found everywhere in the world and their experts were as common as the clouds, even surpassing some hegemonic powers. The existence of such a power would undoubtedly cause the hegemonic powers to feel trepidation. For example, back then during the convention of the Myriad Realms, if the Tiandao Sacred Academy didn't exist, Qin Wentian's ending might be different. He would either join the Ziwei Divine Court or choose to keep a low profile, not stepping out, let alone killing the Dragon Pool Manor Lord. This matter caused the Ziwei Divine Court to lose a lot of face. This was the influence of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Even the hegemonic powers felt trepidation towards their existence. Just at this moment, when the commotion was still brewing, causing a huge commotion in the mystic region, the heavenly deity mountain also spoke. The Tiandao Sacred Academy treasures its treasures. Since they say that Heaven's Son has outstanding talent, why don't they allow him to enter the legendary place to cultivate? After all, it's still to strengthen himself and nurture the core disciples of the Sacred Academy. How many ordinary students in the Sacred Academy know of the legendary place in the Tiandao Sacred Academy? How many of them have entered before? These words were extremely harsh. Not only would the external influence be extremely great, it would also cause an extremely bad influence to the Tiandao Sacred Academy. There were many people in the Tiandao Sacred Academy who came here to seek the Tao. All of them were geniuses from the various regions, and many of them had supreme talent. There were successors of the Sword Saint Mountain, successors of the Divine Ox clan. Which of these people weren't strong? If they didn't have supreme talent, why didn't they enter the legendary place? In the past, they didn't think about this. But a single sentence from the heavenly deity mountain caused many people to ponder. Could it be that only those who are willing to stay in the Sacred Academy and become a part of the Sacred Academy could enter the legendary place? Right now, this matter was no longer just Qin Dangtian insulting the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Even the two hegemonic powers of the mystic region stood out to speak. The Ziwei Divine Court in Heavenly Deity Mountain instantly pushed the Tiandao Sacred Academy into a huge vortex. That holy ground in Daoask City that imparted the Tao to the people of the world seemed to be facing a huge crisis. A storm seemed to be gathering with this holy ground as the center. At this moment in the Sacred Academy, the hearts of the people were fluctuating. Qin Wentian was discussing some matters with Divine Sound. He didn't cultivate during this period of time, and could clearly sense the changes in the Sacred Academy. Many people seemed to have become restless, different from the past. Clearly, the Ziwei Divine Court in Heavenly Deity Mountain statements had affected the hearts of the people. Senior Brother Divine Sound, have you asked teacher about this? What exactly is going on exactly? Why would such a storm suddenly drag the Sacred Academy into this? There shouldn't be a reason for this, right? Could it really be because of a single Qin Dangtian? Qin Wentian was filled with suspicion. Was Qin Dangtian's entry into the Sacred Academy the cause of this storm? Maybe it has something to do with some rumors. Divine Sound spoke. Since ancient Azure Mystic has reappeared in the world, there are rumors in the immortal realms that there would be a huge change in the supreme ancient immortal realms. I wonder if this matter has implicated the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Ancient Azure Mystic. Qin Wentian spoke in a light voice. In the world-ending battle back then, ancient Azure Mystic was already destroyed. Why would there be a huge change in the supreme ancient immortal realms when ancient Azure Mystic reappeared? Is it because they are afraid of that existence? The existence he was referring to was naturally the one recorded in the Heavenly Tao Library, the Grim Reaper. Who knows? The Tiandao Sacred Academy suddenly got embroiled in this. The Heaven's Son came here in such a domineering manner. It's very possible that he wanted to use this storm to gain a supreme position. His ambitions are extremely great. Divine Sound spoke. Qin Wentian nodded. As the Heaven's Son, Qin Dangtian's attitude was extremely arrogant. His ambitions were naturally extremely high. He chose the name Heaven's Son because he wanted to dominate the world. Chapter 1826. Qin Dangtian's ambition was extremely great, but wasn't Qin Wentian the same as well? If Qin Dangtian wanted to verify his Tao, then Qin Wentian wanted to defeat Qin Dangtian. Didn't this mean that his ambition surpassed Qin Dangtian's? When Qin Dangtian said that the Sacred Academy should be disbanded, the Ziwei Divine Court and the Heavenly Deity Mountain immediately responded. With such a powerful lineup, how could there not be a follow-up? Right now, he came to the Tiandao Sacred Academy, and they would be able to meet him again. Did they want to allow the geniuses from the peak powers to enter the legendary place of the Sacred Academy? If not, once the geniuses from the peak powers gathered here, How would they give up so easily? They wanted to force the Tiandao Sacred Academy to compromise. If the Tiandao Sacred Academy didn't agree, it would be akin to inviting a wolf into their home, courting their own destruction. Chongkong, it wasn't easy for you to survive. His martial uncle spoke. Yu Chongkong fell silent. He didn't reply. Right now, his entire person seemed to have changed. There was no longer a fake smile on his face. Instead, his expression was gloomy and cold, even more terrifying. After that day, the Ziwei Divine Court naturally knew that he was a fake. The heavenly deities were enraged, but because his talent was truly not bad, they still gave him a chance. That torment of life and death was something he would never be able to forget. All of this was given to him by Qin Wentian. Right now, his strength was even stronger than before. In fact, when he fought against an expert on the heavenly Dao rankings of the Ziwei Divine Court, he wasn't any weaker. And as expected, not long after, the hegemonic powers of the other regions outside the Mystic region also spoke out, saying that if the Tiandao Sacred Academy wanted to prove itself, they couldn't keep their treasures to themselves. They should open the legendary place and allow the peak characters of the various regions to enter for cultivation. Naturally, there was also the Qin clan. This matter was originally caused by Qin Dangtian. There was no doubt that he would come. Also, there would surely be many peak characters from the Qin clan who came. Who would he see? What kind of relationship did he have with his father? At this moment, Yu Chongkong's expression was cold to the extreme as he stared in the direction of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. He heard that the current Yu Chongkong was cultivating in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Yu Chongkong snatched away his glory and everything, causing him to be humiliated. Although Yu Chongkong was still standing here now, he had experienced inhuman pain and was on the brink of death. If it wasn't for him passing the test, he would have died long ago. After that, the top forces of the Yellow region arrived. The Winged God race, the Wang family, and the other heavenly God race forces arrived. I understand. Yu Chongkong calmly replied. His expression was the same as before. There were no fluctuations at all. After this news circulated out, Qin Wentian received a voice transmission from Layer of the Luotian clan in the desolate region. She asked how the Tiandao Sacred Academy would consider this. Qin Wentian naturally had no idea about this. Just when this storm was brewing today, a voice rang out from the Tiandao Sacred Academy, inviting the peak geniuses of the 8 regions to gather at the Tiandao Sacred Academy. You understand that you have committed a crime worthy of death. However, your senior brother still gave you a chance. Now that you have arrived at the Tiandao Sacred Academy, there's a high possibility that you will meet the person you hate to the bone. I hope that you won't disappoint your senior brother during this trip to the Tiandao Sacred Academy. The other party calmly spoke. Yu Chongkong had deceived the heavens and the earth, deceiving the Ziwei Divine Court and heavenly deities. This was a crime worthy of death. It naturally wasn't easy for him to survive. However, he was also very worried. The Tiandao Sacred Academy wanted to gather the hegemonic powers of the supreme ancient immortal realms to the Sacred Academy. What sort of storm would there be? Since the Luotian clan was preparing to set off, the other hegemonic powers naturally would do the same as well. They were all going to head to the Tiandao Sacred Academy in the Mystic region. This time around, the entire world was truly shaken. The peak hegemonic powers of the various regions all headed to the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Senior Brother Divine Sound. What sort of place is the legendary place of the Sacred Academy? Why does Qin Dangtan want to enter? Qin Wentian curiously asked. There was only a single hegemonic power in the universe region. Even this hegemonic power sent someone here. Once this news circulated out, it caused a huge commotion. The Tiandao Sacred Academy had compromised. This time around, how many peak geniuses would they see? Naturally, Qin Wentian didn't meet with Luotian Lei. The Qin clan might descend at any moment. At this moment, how could he be too close to Luotian Lei? If the people of the Qin clan saw him, it would be too easy for them to suspect him. He naturally understood that he would prove it to everyone. So what if it was proven that he wasn't the successor of the Time King? Those people who underestimated him would definitely regret it. The Eastern Royal Immortal Realms actually dared to break the marriage agreement. This debt, he would settle it sooner or later. The Qin clan from the Heaven region finally arrived. Qin Dangtian didn't appear in the Qin clan. Those who came were all peak world overlords. Although he was the Heaven's son now and was the symbol of the Qin clan, in truth, other than him, there were also many other shocking geniuses from the various branches of the Qin clan. It was just that their radiance was overshadowed by him. He, Qin Dangtian, had already become famous throughout the 8 regions of the supreme ancient immortal realms. After that, the peak powers of the Heaven region and Earth region gathered in Daoask City. For a period of time, the seemingly calm Daoask City was actually about to erupt with a shocking storm. Luo Shenlei told Qin Wentian that she would be heading to the Tiandao Sacred Academy together with some experts from the Luoshan clan. After learning this news, Qin Wentian felt some joy in his heart. He would be able to see Lei again. Everyone in the world was paying attention to this, including the 8 regions. They wanted to know how this storm would develop. What ending would the Tiandao Sacred Academy face? Qin Wentian learned from Luo Shenlei's message that not only did she come, a few other world overlords from the Luoshan clan with extremely outstanding talent also came. All of them came here for the same purpose, to enter the legendary place of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. The Tiandao Sacred Academy has never experienced such a huge storm before. Everyone knew that the sacred ground located in Daoask City of the Mystic region would soon face an unprecedented crisis. If this was the case, would they also have a chance to enter the legendary place? It was like if the Tiandao Sacred Academy still refused to compromise, the various peak powers might force the Tiandao Sacred Academy to disintegrate, not allowing it to continue existing. A huge storm also occurred within the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Clearly, the disciples of the Sacred Academy didn't expect that the Tiandao Sacred Academy would release such news, wanting the geniuses of the world to gather at the Sacred Academy. What were they trying to do? After chatting for a while longer, Qin Wentian bade farewell and left. For the next period of time, the disciples of the Tiandao Sacred Academy all sensed the change in the atmosphere of the Sacred Academy. It was different from the past and there was some pressure. Many people were waiting to see how things would develop in the future. Clearly, this matter has not concluded yet. Right now, the Tiandao Sacred Academy seemed to have no choice but to make a compromise. At the Heaven Equal Lodge, there were 2 figures staring in the direction of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Other than that heavenly deity junior brother, Yu Changkong's figure was also standing behind him. However, the Daoask Lodge was in a difficult position. Next, there might be experts from the various hegemonic powers coming here. All of them were hegemonic powers, but the seats at the top were limited. If the other hegemonic powers were to stay at the bottom, what would they think? In the western region of the supreme ancient immortal realms, a group of reverends from the Buddhist sect arrived in the universe region. Each of them had a transcendent aura and came from the land of bliss, cultivating the Buddhist Tao. After them was the heavenly deity mountain. The 3 hegemonic powers of the mystic region were the first to arrive. Other than them, many experts from the hegemonic powers of the mystic region also arrived. However, they understood that although they were from the hegemonic powers, they could only be spectators this time around. The main characters wouldn't be them. The major powers of the desolate region also arrived. They were the Luoshan clan, Divine Ox clan and Demon God Mountain. Since the Luoshan clan arrived, it meant that Luo Shenlei had arrived as well. Qin Wentian was the first to receive the news because the moment Luo Shenlei entered the city, she immediately sent him a message. When has there ever been such a grand scene in Daoask City? All the hegemonic powers of the supreme ancient immortal realms gathered here. Tiandao Sacred Academy was a hegemonic power of the mystic region. The first to arrive was naturally one of the 3 hegemonic powers of the mystic region. The Ziwei Divine Court soon arrived and they directly stayed at the Daoask Lodge. The Daoask Lodge was the best inn in Daoask City, they naturally stayed there. Without a doubt, the Daoask Lodge had given the Heaven Equal Lodge to the Ziwei Divine Court. This voice waited for the response of many hegemonic powers. After that, a formless tempest manifested, gushing towards the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Daoask City fell into a frenzy. Countless people were filled with anticipation. Although the Tiandao Sacred Academy was a sacred ground, such a grand event had never happened before. The hegemonic powers of the 8 regions of the supreme ancient immortal realms might all come to Tiandao Sacred Academy. How great of a storm would this cause? A storm was brewing in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. However, the people leading the group this time around were all world overlords. Not a single heavenly deity appeared. Naturally, everyone understood that this dispute was caused by heavenly deities. They were all watching everything from behind the scenes. Among the experts from the Ziwei divine court, the person leading the way was a junior apprentice brother of a heavenly deity. This person was none other than the hegemonic world overlord Qin Wentian met before at the convention of the Myriad Realms, the martial uncle of Yu Chongkong. In the Luoshan clan, other than Lei who else would come? Most probably, he would meet many of his mother's relatives. Since it's a legendary place, how would I know? Although I've cultivated in the Sacred Academy for countless years, I've never entered it before. This is the greatest secret of Tiandao's Sacred Academy. Maybe only teacher and a few heavenly deities know the truth. Divine Sound replied. Qin Wentian silently sighed in his heart at how mysterious the legendary place of Tiandao's Sacred Academy was. Even his senior apprentice brother Divine Sound knew nothing about it. Most probably, the vast majority of people in the Tiandao Sacred Academy were the same. Within the Sacred Academy, Qin Wentian received news every day about which hegemonic powers had arrived. The entire Tiandao Sacred Academy was under incomparable pressure. The Sacred Academy invited hegemonic powers from all over the world. What was their purpose exactly? To the people from the Tiandao Sacred Academy, this definitely wasn't a good thing. After that, the people from the Great Devil Divine Palace arrived. However, they didn't stay in the Daoask Lodge. They knew that the highest level of the Daoask Lodge was occupied by the Ziwei Divine Court. How could they be willing to stay below the Ziwei Divine Court? If they wanted to compete, it would be meaningless. Hence, they didn't head to the Daoask Lodge and chose to stay in another inn instead. This matter caused the Daoask Lodge to feel a headache. Countless people started to feel anticipation. Chapter 1827. Today, the three heavenly deities of the Tiandao Sacred Academy gathered all the students under them. Qin Wentian was a student under Dugu deity. He was naturally present as well. Before the Divine Dao platform, the most outstanding world overlord students of the Tiandao Sacred Academy were all gathered here. Right now, experts from all over the world were gathered here. The storm was brewing and the Tiandao Sacred Academy was about to welcome an unprecedented storm. Most probably, the heavenly deities of the Sacred Academy gathered everyone here because they had something important to instruct them. All of you have cultivated in the Tiandao Sacred Academy for many years. For some of you, you can't even remember how long it has been. For some of you, it has been at least tens of years. But now, the Tiandao Sacred Academy is about to face a calamity. We gathered all of you here because we have something important to instruct you all. At this moment, the oldest heavenly deity spoke. His title was the Life-Govern Heavenly Deity. All the students listened quietly. The Life-Govern Heavenly Deity continued. All of you should know that not long ago, Qin Dangtian came to the Sacred Academy and provoked the three of us. He is very powerful and his purpose is to obtain the legendary place of our Sacred Academy. However, that legendary place isn't like what the people of the world think it is. When the legendary place is open to the people of the world, the supreme ancient immortal realms would welcome a huge change. The hearts of many people trembled. The opening of the legendary place would actually cause a huge change in the supreme ancient immortal realms? What sort of place was that exactly? Heaven's Son Qin Dangtian, the Ziwei Divine Court, and the Heavenly Deity Mountain are exerting pressure on our Tiandao Sacred Academy. In fact, even the peak powers of the other regions have spoken out. Their intentions are obvious. There are many disciples cultivating in our Sacred Academy, and some of them are from the peak powers of the supreme ancient immortal realms. Naturally, there might be geniuses from the peak powers who came here in disguise. In the past, our Tiandao Sacred Academy didn't want to bother about this. But I understand that some things happening in the Tiandao Sacred Academy can't be hidden from the other regions. The Life-Govern Heavenly Deity stared at everyone. He then continued, hence, Tiandao Sacred Academy decided to gather all the experts from the 8 regions. Since things will come sooner or later, we might as well take the initiative to face them. Since they want to compete, our Tiandao Sacred Academy will allow more people to participate. In that case, it would be more difficult for those with ulterior motives to achieve their goals. But in truth, I still hope that the ones who would be able to achieve success in the legendary place would be all of you. The life-governed heavenly deity's words seemed to be interrupting the heavenly deity's plan to let everyone in the supreme ancient immortal realms enter as well. He wanted them to compete against the peak powers of the supreme ancient immortal realms, placing all their hopes on them. Life-governed heavenly deity, I still don't understand. Why don't you let us enter the legendary place directly? Why do you want to gather everyone here? Someone asked in puzzlement. I've already said it earlier. The things that happened in the Sacred Academy cannot be hidden from the eyes and ears of everyone in the world. Even if we let all of you enter, the experts from the various regions would surely descend upon the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Qin Dang Tian and the others wouldn't give up. This is one of the reasons. The life-governed heavenly deity spoke. As for the more important reason, it is because this is the command given by the headmaster. Since it is the headmaster's command, it must be correct. After you all enter, I'm sure you will understand. I'm not sure as well because even the three of us have never entered the legendary place of the Sacred Academy before. Even the three heavenly deities didn't enter. The hearts of everyone trembled. The bewitching words of the outside world caused people's hearts to waver. The people of the world suspect that our Tiandao Sacred Academy is selfish, and even the most outstanding disciples of the Sacred Academy aren't allowed to enter. How laughable! In truth, even us heavenly deities have no idea what the legendary place looks like. Heaven deity Dugu coldly spoke. Some people felt ashamed in their hearts. Indeed, after the bewitching words circulated around, many disciples of the Sacred Academy had different thoughts in their hearts. Dugu, forget it. The life-governed heavenly deity spoke. The people of the world are like this, what's there to be resentful about? Today I gathered all of you here because I have an important message for you. This is something the headmaster instructed me to tell you. After you enter the legendary place, no matter what you experience, you must remember to guard your heart. If not, you will be consigned to eternal damnation. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. Seems like the legendary place of the Tiandao Sacred Academy wasn't like what many people imagined. It wasn't some holy land for cultivation where one would be able to attain the Tao the moment they entered. That place might be an extremely dangerous place. If not, the headmaster wouldn't have intentionally told the life-governed heavenly deity to warn them. Everyone nodded silently, memorizing these words. The mysterious headmaster of the Tiandao Sacred Academy must have a deeper meaning behind his words. They naturally had to remember them. Alright, you guys can go now. The life-governed heavenly deity waved his hand as everyone departed. Not long after the incident at the Tiandao Sacred Academy, news circulated out in the outside world. The reason why the Tiandao Sacred Academy gathered all the geniuses in the world was because they were preparing to allow them to enter the legendary place together. This matter caused an uproar once again. Since Qin Dang Tian and the others said that the Tiandao Sacred Academy was too selfish and didn't deserve to be known as a place that teaches the Tao, in that case, the Tiandao Sacred Academy seemed to be replying to them. What does it mean to teach the Tao? Since all of you want to enter, all supreme geniuses in the world can enter. And as expected, not long after this news circulated out, the Tiandao Sacred Academy gathered all the major powers in Daoask City to enter the Sacred Academy. Today, the attention of the entire world was focused on this. Outside the Heavenly Tao stairway, the number of people gathered was even more compared to when Qin Dang Tian paid a visit to the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Both the sky and the ground were filled with people. But even so, the direction where the Heavenly Tao stairway was facing, there was still a passageway that no one wanted to enter. This passageway was meant for the hegemonic characters of the various powers in the supreme ancient immortal realms. Today, the heavenly deities of the Tiandao Sacred Academy led their disciples to the top of the Heavenly Tao stairway to welcome the arrival of the experts from the various powers. They are here. Someone spoke. From afar, a vast number of experts arrived. They were divided into different camps. However, the strength of each camp was so strong that it caused the hearts of people to tremble. Heavenly deities led the way, the others were all world overlords. Before this, those heavenly deities who didn't follow them also appeared today, entering the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Such a grand era as heavenly deities, how could they miss it? The Ziwei Divine Court has arrived. Countless people turned their gazes to the experts from the Ziwei Divine Court. The person in the lead exuded a lofty aura. It was none other than a heavenly deity. The people behind him were all clad in violet constellation robes, exuding an incomparably imposing aura. They were the hegemons of the mystic region. With a stomp of their feet, they could cause the entire mystic region to tremble. Qin Wentian stared at the people from the Ziwei Divine Court. He actually saw Yu Chongkong, as well as the major character from the Ziwei Divine Court that day. He felt somewhat curious. Back then when he exposed Yu Chongkong's identity, he thought that the Ziwei Divine Court in Donghuang clan wouldn't spare him so easily. He even dared to lie to a heavenly deity. How great of a crime was this? However, Yu Chongkong was actually still in the Ziwei Divine Court. Not only was he alive, he was also standing behind that heavenly deity. This clearly indicated that his status was extraordinary. Yu Chongkong also saw Qin Wentian with a single glance. Compared to Qin Wentian's surprise, Yu Chongkong's eyes flashed with extreme hatred, as well as an intense killing intent. Although he was alive, the pain he experienced was something that Qin Wentian wouldn't understand. He wanted Qin Wentian to die. Staring at the unmasked killing intent in Yu Chongkong's eyes, compared to the hypocrisy in the past, the Yu Chongkong now was more direct. However, after being exposed by him, Yu Chongkong actually hated him so much? How ridiculous! Back then, Yu Chongkong pretended to be the successor of the Time King and wanted to kill him. Yet, Yu Chongkong still couldn't expose him? The experts from the Great Devil Divine Palace have arrived. A voice rang out from the crowd. A group of experts exuded an extremely tyrannical devil aura, exuding an unparalleled might. The person in the lead was naturally a heavenly deity. After that, the experts from the various powers arrived one after another. They were all peak characters of the 8 regions. Today, all of them came for the sake of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. From this, one could see how attractive the legendary place was to the people of the supreme ancient immortal realms. Qin Wentian sighed silently in his heart. Although the heavenly deities of the Tiandao Sacred Academy have never entered the legendary place before, the various powers most probably knew some secrets regarding the legendary place. If not, they wouldn't have gathered here because of a single sentence from the Tiandao Sacred Academy. It was unknown how many powerful characters there were in the crowd. Everyone in the world stared at these people who came. Qin Wentian turned his gaze to the Luoshan clan. Luoshan Lei also glanced in his direction, silently smiling at Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian also surveyed the people around Luoshan Lei. The person in the lead of the Luoshan clan was an old heavenly deity. It was unknown what relationship this old deity had with the Luoshan clan. Other than the Luoshan clan, Qin Wentian was also paying attention to the Qin clan. There was no surprise that the heavenly deity in the lead was none other than Heaven's son Qin Dangtian. Although he wasn't old, his status was already extraordinary. The 3 heavenly deities of the Tiandao Sacred Academy stepped out and came to the top of the stairs. They stared at everyone and spoke. Everyone, it's the honor of my Tiandao Sacred Academy to gather here. The Tiandao Sacred Academy is extremely famous, and is a place that teaches the Tao. This poor monk and the others have always been filled with admiration. Since the Sacred Academy has summoned us, how can we not come? A heavenly deity in a kasaya pressed his palms together. His tone was extremely humble, but no one knew if he was speaking the truth or not. I heard that the Tiandao Sacred Academy is gathering experts from all over the world because of the legendary place. Seems like the Tiandao Sacred Academy has already reached an agreement, allowing the heroes of the world to gather here? A heavenly deity from the Ziwei Divine Court spoke, directly speaking. He couldn't be bothered to beat around the bush. Dao Frenziwei, why are you so impatient? The life-governed heavenly deity laughed. Since everyone can't wait any longer, please enter the Sacred Academy. These words undoubtedly agreed to the heavenly deity's words. All the experts lifted their feet and walked up the stairway, moving towards the Sacred Academy. The heavenly deity from the Tiandao Sacred Academy led the way. A group of peak characters from the supreme ancient immortal realms respectively entered the Sacred Academy, moving towards the depths of the Sacred Academy. In the outside world, countless experts were staring in anticipation. Experts from all over the world gathered here to enter the legendary place of the Sacred Academy. This time around, what sort of waves would occur? You're tuning in to the Lee May Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.